Ash has just defeated Leon in the World Coronation Series final, claiming the title of World Champion with Pikachu's thunderous victory over Charizard. The crowd erupts, confetti falls, and in that moment of triumph, Team Rocket strikes. Not with another harebrained scheme or malfunctioning mech, but with a device Giovanni himself designed after studying every failed capture attempt. The anti-electrical dampening field activates, Pikachu collapses mid-celebration, and before Ash can react, the mouse Pokémon is secured in an unbreakable containment unit. Jessie and James and Meowth don't blast off this time. They succeed. But what happens next? The immediate aftermath plays out, unlike anything we have seen in canon. Giovanni receives the call he has waited decades for. Team Rocket has finally captured the Pikachu that humiliated his organization countless times, the same Pikachu that just defeated the strongest trainer in the world. The boss's reaction is not celebration, but cold calculation. He orders Pikachu brought to the Viridian Gym immediately, not for experiments or weaponization, but for something far more personal. Giovanni wants to break Ash Ketchum's spirit by turning his most beloved partner against him. Ash's world shatters in ways canon never explored. Without Pikachu by his side for the first time since he was 10 years old, the newly crowned world champion feels hollow. The title means nothing. Go tries to console him, but Ash barely speaks for days. This is not the temporary separation we saw when Pikachu was injured or when Ash left him at Professor Oak's lab. This is permanent theft, and it changes everything about who Ash is as a trainer and person. Team Rocket's dynamic shifts dramatically from their usual bumbling antics. With their greatest success finally achieved, Jessie and James are promoted within the organization. Giovanni assigns them to his personal security detail, no longer the comic relief trio, but trusted operatives who proved they could deliver results when it mattered. Meowth becomes Giovanni's translator for captured Pokémon, starting with Pikachu himself. The boss wants to understand exactly what makes this particular electric mouse so powerful, and more importantly, how to turn that power against its former trainer. Giovanni's interrogation of Pikachu reveals something canon never addressed directly. Through Meowth's translation, we learn that Pikachu's bond with Ash goes beyond simple friendship or training partnership. The mouse Pokémon describes a connection forged through shared dreams, synchronized heartbeats during battles, and an unspoken understanding that transcends species barriers. Giovanni realizes he is not just holding a powerful Pokémon, but the living embodiment of everything he considers weakness in trainers, the emotional bonds that he believes make them soft. The Rocket Boss's plan unfolds methodically. Rather than simply adding Pikachu to his team, Giovanni begins a psychological conditioning program designed to break the Pokémon's loyalty to Ash. He shows Pikachu footage of Ash's other Pokémon battles, pointing out through Meowth how the trainer repeatedly puts his team in danger for glory. He provides Pikachu with luxury beyond anything the mouse experienced traveling with Ash. Gourmet Pokémon food instead of basic pellets, climate-controlled environments instead of sleeping outdoors, medical care that prevents rather than just treats injuries. Meanwhile, Ash begins a desperate campaign to rescue his partner that takes him down darker paths than canon ever explored. Without Pikachu's moral compass and emotional support, Ash makes decisions that shock his friends. He infiltrates Team Rocket facilities alone, abandons his other Pokémon when they cannot keep up with his increasingly reckless plans, and pushes himself to physical and mental exhaustion. Professor Oak and Delia become genuinely worried about his well being as reports reach them of Ash breaking into rocket warehouses across multiple regions. The separation affects Ash's other Pokemon in unexpected ways. Charizard, who always respected Pikachu as the team's heart, becomes more aggressive and difficult to control without the electric mouse's calming presence. Skeptile and Infernape, both Pokemon who bonded with Ash through overcoming abandonment issues, begin to question whether their trainer will eventually abandon them too if something better comes along. Only Greninja, connected to Ash through their unique bond phenomenon, maintains unwavering loyalty. But even their psychic link feels incomplete without Pikachu's electrical signature in the mix. Go finds himself in an impossible position as Ash's traveling companion. Every attempt to suggest new adventures or Pokemon encounters is met with obsessive focus on rocket intelligence gathering. Ash stops caring about his world champion duties, ignoring challenges from other trainers and skipping promotional events. The Pokemon World Championship Committee grows concerned about their champion's mental state and public behavior, but Ash refuses all offers of help or counseling. 3 weeks after the capture, Giovanni makes his first direct contact with Ash since becoming world champion. The call comes through official league channels, lending it an air of legitimacy that catches Ash off guard. Giovanni's message is simple but devastating. He has Pikachu, the Pokemon is being treated well, and Ash can have him back under one condition. The world champion must face Giovanni in a 6-on-6 battle with championship rules. If Ash wins, he gets Pikachu back. If Giovanni wins, Ash must surrender his world champion title and never challenge Team Rocket again. The terms seem straightforward, but Giovanni's true strategy runs deeper. During their weeks together, he has been slowly poisoning Pikachu's mind against Ash, not through abuse, but through comfort and manipulation. Giovanni shows Pikachu data on injury rates among Ash's Pokemon compared to those of other top trainers. He provides evidence of how many times Ash put Pikachu specifically in life-threatening situations for the sake of battles that ultimately meant nothing. Most devastatingly, he shows Pikachu footage of Ash celebrating victories while his Pokemon lay unconscious from exhaustion. Pikachu begins to doubt, something that never happened in canon despite numerous separations and misunderstandings. The mouse Pokemon starts to wonder if Giovanni might be right about Ash's selfishness. The comfortable life at Giovanni's facility, complete with other electric types who seem genuinely happy, contrasts sharply with memories of sleeping in the rain, going hungry during long journeys, and facing legendary Pokemon that could have killed them both. Meowth, following Giovanni's orders, reinforces these doubts by sharing his own story of abandonment and finding purpose with Team Rocket. Ash accepts Giovanni's challenge immediately, but his preparation reveals how much he has changed without Pikachu. Instead of his usual optimistic training approach, Ash becomes calculating and ruthless. He studies Giovanni's battle history obsessively, analyzes every known Team Rocket Pokemon, and develops strategies that prioritize winning over the well-being of his team. When Charizard suggests they train together like old times, Ash dismisses the idea, saying he cannot afford sentiment when Pikachu's freedom is at stake. The battle location is set for the abandoned Viridian Gym, Giovanni's original base of operations, before he took control of Team Rocket completely. The choice is deliberate psychological warfare, forcing Ash to face his enemy on ground where the Rocket Boss once operated under the guise of a legitimate gym leader. Giovanni has spent the intervening weeks not just conditioning Pikachu, but also preparing his own team with a level of focus he has not shown since his original confrontation with Red years earlier. As the battle date approaches, Pikachu's internal conflict reaches a breaking point. Giovanni's conditioning has been subtle but effective, planting seeds of doubt about Ash's motivations while providing evidence that life without constant battles might be preferable. The mouse Pokemon no longer tries to escape his containment, instead spending hours in conversation with Meowth about the nature of trainer-Pokemon relationships and whether loyalty should be unconditional. Ash arrives at the Viridian Gym with a team that reflects his current mental state. Instead of his usual diverse roster chosen for their bonds with him, he brings his 6 strongest Pokemon based purely on competitive analysis. Charizard leads the team, followed by Sceptile, Infernup, Crocodile, Goodra, and in a decision that shocks everyone who knows him, Greninja, despite their bond phenomenon, requiring emotional synchronization that Ash can no longer achieve in his current state. Giovanni enters the battlefield with Pikachu's Pokeball prominently displayed on his belt, a psychological tactic designed to distract Ash during crucial moments. The Rocket Boss's team represents decades of criminal empire building and Pokemon acquisition through means both legal and otherwise. His lead Pokemon is Nidoking, the same species he used as a gym leader, but now trained to championship level standards, with access to resources that dwarf anything a normal trainer could provide. The battle begins with Ash sending out Charizard against Giovanni's Nidoking, and immediately the difference in Ash's approach becomes apparent. Instead of the creative, bond-based strategies that made him world champion, Ash relies on raw power and textbook competitive tactics. Charizard, confused by the change in his trainer's style, struggles to adapt to commands that feel mechanical and emotionally distant. Giovanni notices this immediately and begins exploiting the disconnect between trainer and Pokemon that never existed in their previous encounters. Nidoking overwhelms Charizard with a combination of Earth Power and Megahorn that forces Ash to recall his starter after only 3 exchanges, something that would have been unthinkable during his championship run. Giovanni's psychological warfare intensifies as he deliberately holds Pikachu's Pokeball throughout the battle, occasionally glancing at it during lulls in combat to remind Ash exactly what hangs in the balance. Ash sends out Sceptile next, hoping the grass type's speed advantage will shift momentum, but his commands lack the intuitive timing that once made their partnership legendary. Sceptile manages to land a critical Leaf Blade on Nidoking before falling to a devastating Focus Blast, trading 1-for-1 in what amounts to a Pyrrhic victory for Ash, given Giovanni's superior resources and backup plans. Giovanni switches to Persian, his personal favorite and longest-serving partner, a Pokemon that has been with him since before Team Rocket's formation and knows every dirty trick in the criminal handbook. Ash responds with Infernape, banking on type advantage, but the fire type's natural aggression works against them when Giovanni baits Infernape into overcommitting to a flare blitz that Persian dodges with U-turn, bringing in Rhyperior immediately afterward. The ground type's solid rock ability negates the fire damage Ash was counting on, and Rhyperior's Megahorn connects for a one-hit knockout that leaves Arash visibly shaken. This is not how battles used to go when he trusted his Pokémon and they trusted him back. Crocodile enters the field with Ash down 3 Pokémon to 1, the deficit growing larger by the moment. Giovanni's Rhyperior proves why the Rocket Boss has remained undefeated in serious combat for decades, using Stone Edge to control battlefield positioning, while Earthquake forces Crocodile into predictable aerial maneuvers that telegraph every attack. Unlike canon battles, where Ash's creativity and Pokemon bonds created opportunities from impossible situations, this time raw statistics and superior preparation dominate completely. Crocodile falls to a perfectly timed Rock Wrecker, and Giovanni has not even needed to reveal his ace Pokemon yet. Gudra takes the field as Ash's second-to-last hope, the Dragon type's defensive capabilities, representing his best chance to weather Giovanni's assault and find an opening. But Giovanni switches to Garchomp, revealing that his team preparation went far beyond what any normal trainer could achieve through legitimate means. This Garchomp moves with the precision of a Pokemon trained through methods that blur the line between partnership and domination, its Dragon Rush connecting with mechanical efficiency that speaks to conditioning rather than natural battle instinct. Gudra's Rain Dance strategy fails when Garchomp's Sand Tomb negates the weather advantage, and a critical hit, Earthquake, ends the battle before Gudra can establish any defensive momentum. Ash reaches for Greninja's Pokeball with trembling hands, knowing that his final Pokemon represents not just his last chance to save Pikachu, but also the ultimate test of whether he can reclaim the emotional connection that once made him world champion. Giovanni recalls Garchomp and deliberately pauses, making a show of considering which Pokemon to use against Ash's ace, while Pikachu's Pokeball remains visible on his belt. The psychological pressure reaches its peak as Giovanni finally selects his true ace, a Mewtwo that has been with him since the Cerulean Cave incident years earlier, a legendary Pokemon whose power dwarfs anything Ash has ever faced in legitimate competition. Greninja emerges onto the battlefield and immediately senses Ash's emotional turmoil, the water type's natural empathy picking up on the fear and desperation that has replaced his trainer's usual confident determination. The bond phenomenon requires perfect synchronization between trainer and Pokemon, but Ash's current mental state makes that impossible. Instead of the blue energy transformation that once made them legendary, Greninja can only manage flickering attempts at the form before reverting to normal, leaving them vulnerable to Mewtwo's overwhelming psychic assault. Giovanni does not even need to command attacks. Mewtwo's psychic holds Greninja motionless, while its trainer explains exactly how this battle demonstrates the futility of emotional bonds in serious combat. The defeat is total and humiliating, unlike anything Ash has experienced since his earliest days as a trainer. Giovanni collects his victory with the same cold efficiency he brings to all Team Rocket operations, but instead of gloating, he offers Ash a choice that cuts deeper than any insult could. Pikachu can be returned immediately, but only if Ash acknowledges that his methods were flawed and agrees to train under Giovanni's guidance to become the kind of trainer who prioritizes results over sentiment. The alternative is permanent separation, with Pikachu becoming a full member of Team Rocket's elite forces, and Ash returning to his journey empty handed but free to continue his emotional approach with other Pokémon. Ash stares at Pikachu's Pokeball in Giovanni's hand and realizes that his desperation to save his partner has led him to become exactly the kind of trainer he once opposed. The mechanical battle style, the focus on power over partnership, the willingness to sacrifice other Pokemon relationships for one goal, all of it represents a fundamental betrayal of everything that made him world champion in the first place. In that moment of clarity, Ash makes a decision that surprises everyone present, including Giovanni himself. He refuses both options, stating that the Pikachu he knew would never want to be saved at the cost of abandoning the principles that brought them together originally. Giovanni's carefully constructed psychological trap backfires as Ash's declaration reaches Pikachu through the Pokeball's audio receptors. The mouse Pokemon, who has spent weeks listening to Meowth's arguments about conditional loyalty and trainer motivations, suddenly understands that Ash's willingness to lose everything rather than compromise his values represents the deepest form of trust possible. The realization breaks through Giovanni's conditioning completely, and Pikachu's electrical discharge overloads the Pokeball's containment system from within, something that should be impossible but occurs anyway due to the emotional energy that Giovanni never understood or accounted for. Pikachu emerges from the broken Pokeball and immediately positions himself between Ash and Giovanni, electricity crackling with intensity that exceeds anything seen during their championship battles. The reunion is wordless but complete, both trainer and Pokemon understanding that their bond survived, even when Ash temporarily lost faith in it. Giovanni's Mewtwo moves to recapture Pikachu, but the mouse Pokemon's Thunderbolt carries emotional resonance that disrupts even psychic type defenses, creating an opening for Ash and Pikachu to escape the abandoned gym together. The aftermath of their escape changes everything about how Ash approaches training and battles going forward. Unlike canon, where such traumatic events often get resolved quickly and forgotten, this time Ash spends months rebuilding not just his relationship with Pikachu, but his entire philosophy as a trainer. The mechanical approach he adopted during his desperation proved that strength without emotional connection is ultimately hollow, a lesson that reshapes how he handles every subsequent challenge. Pikachu's experience under Giovanni's conditioning also leaves lasting effects, making the mouse Pokemon more protective of Ash, while simultaneously more confident in their bond's ability to survive external pressures. When they finally return to competitive battling, their partnership has evolved beyond even their world championship form. The bond phenomenon that Greninja achieved through synchronization becomes something Pikachu can tap into as well, creating a new level of trainer Pokemon unity that the Pokemon world has never seen before. This development attracts attention from researchers like Professor Oak and Kukui, who document the phenomenon as evidence that emotional bonds can transcend even the established limits of Pokemon battle mechanics. Team Rocket's dynamic changes permanently as well, with Jessie and James recognizing that their casual attempts to capture Pikachu pale in comparison to what Giovanni accomplished through systematic psychological manipulation. Instead of continuing their futile pursuit, they shift focus to other schemes while maintaining a grudging respect for the bond that proved stronger than their organization's most sophisticated capture methods. Meowth, having witnessed Pikachu's breakthrough firsthand, develops a new understanding of what trainer Pokemon relationships can achieve when built on genuine trust rather than conditional loyalty. The experience also affects Ash's approach to helping other trainers and Pokemon in distress. Having learned that desperation can lead even well intentioned trainers toward harmful methods, he becomes more focused on addressing the root causes of Pokemon trainer conflicts rather than just their symptoms. This philosophical evolution influences every subsequent arc of his journey, making him a more effective champion, not just in battle, but in resolving the complex relationships that define the Pokemon world. And just like that, we see how Team Rocket finally catching Pikachu would have created the ultimate test of the bond between Ash and his partner, forcing both trainer and Pokemon to discover that their connection runs deeper than either Giovanni's manipulation or Ash's own temporary loss of faith could break, ultimately emerging stronger and more unified than ever before. The ripple effects extend far beyond Ash and Pikachu's personal growth, fundamentally altering the trajectory of every major relationship and rivalry in Ash's journey. Gary Oak, who in canon maintains his research focus after the Silver Conference, finds himself drawn back into competitive battling when he witnesses the new bond phenomenon during one of Professor Oak's documentation sessions. Unlike canon, where Gary's rivalry with Ash effectively ends after Johto, this time Gary becomes determined to understand and potentially replicate what Ash and Pikachu have achieved. This renewed competitive drive leads Gary to challenge Ash to a series of battles throughout the advanced generation, each one pushing both trainers to new heights as Gary experiments with deeper emotional connections to his own team while Ash refines his enhanced partnership with Pikachu. Paul's entire character arc shifts dramatically when he encounters this evolved version of Ash during the Sinnoh League. In canon, Paul's philosophy centers on the belief that emotional attachment weakens Pokemon, but witnessing Pikachu's bond phenomenon in action forces him to confront evidence that directly contradicts his core training principles. Instead of the gradual realization that plays out in canon through his relationship with Chimchar, Paul experiences a more immediate crisis of methodology when his strongest Pokemon consistently fall to Pikachu's enhanced abilities. This leads to Paul releasing several Pokemon earlier than in canon, not out of disappointment, but from a genuine recognition that his training methods have been fundamentally flawed. The psychological impact of seeing Giovanni's systematic approach fail against genuine emotional bonds becomes the catalyst for Paul's transformation into a more empathetic trainer, accelerating his character development by an entire season. Dawn's coordination career takes on new dimensions when she begins incorporating elements of the bond phenomenon into her contest performances. Having witnessed Ash and Pikachu's enhanced synchronization firsthand, Dawn starts experimenting with deeper emotional connections during her appeals and battles, creating performances that blur the line between contests and traditional Pokemon battles. This innovation catches the attention of Wallace and other contest masters, who recognize that Dawn has discovered a new evolution in coordination artistry. Unlike Canon, where Dawn's contests remain largely separate from Ash's gym battles, this time her performances begin influencing how coordinators across all regions approach their craft, with Dawn becoming a pioneer of what researchers eventually term synchronous coordination. The Sinnoh League itself unfolds completely differently, with Ash wielding Pikachu's enhanced abilities. Tobias, who in canon defeats Ash with his team of legendary Pokémon, finds himself facing an opponent whose bond enhanced Pikachu can match even legendary tier power levels. The battle becomes a showcase of different philosophies, with Tobias relying on the raw power of captured legendaries, while Ash demonstrates the potential of trained partnerships. When Pikachu's bond phenomenon allows it to defeat Tobias's Darkrai through sheer synchronization rather than type advantage, the Pokemon world takes notice. Tobias, forced to reveal more of his legendary team than in canon, ultimately wins the league, but acknowledges that Ash has achieved something that legendary Pokemon alone cannot replicate. This recognition leads to Tobias seeking out Ash after the league to understand how emotional bonds can generate power that rivals legendary abilities. The Unova region presents unique challenges when Ash arrives with his enhanced partnership already established. Trip, who in canon begins as an overconfident rookie, instead finds himself completely outclassed from their first encounter when Pikachu's bond phenomenon allows it to defeat Trip's entire team without taking significant damage. This early humbling forces Trip to abandon his initial arrogance and instead becomes genuinely curious about Ash's training methods. Unlike Canon, where Trip remains antagonistic throughout most of Unova, this time he becomes an eager student, with Ash taking on a mentoring role that helps him develop his own teaching abilities in preparation for eventually becoming a Pokemon professor himself. Ceylon's evaluation of Ash takes on new significance when he witnesses the bond phenomenon during their gym battle. As a connoisseur of trainer Pokemon relationships, Ceylon immediately recognizes that what Ash and Pikachu have achieved represents a completely new category of partnership. Instead of the standard gym battle format, Ceylon requests extended observation sessions to document and understand the phenomenon, leading to Ash spending several extra weeks in Striaton City. These sessions become the foundation for Ceylon's research into advanced trainer Pokemon synchronization, eventually making him one of the world's leading experts on bond-based battle techniques. The Team Plasma crisis unfolds with dramatically higher stakes when N encounters Ash's enhanced partnership. N's ability to hear Pokemon voices allows him to perceive the genuine happiness and fulfillment that Pikachu experiences through the bond phenomenon, creating a philosophical crisis for someone whose entire worldview centers on the belief that Pokemon are suffering under human partnership. Instead of the gradual realization that plays out in canon, and immediately recognizes that Ash represents proof that his ideology is flawed, but this creates an even deeper internal conflict as he struggles to reconcile his lifelong beliefs with undeniable evidence. The resulting psychological turmoil makes N more dangerous initially, as he becomes desperate to prove that Ash's case is an exception rather than evidence that his entire philosophy is wrong. Getsis recognizes the threat that Ash's bond phenomenon poses to Team Plasma's ideology and specifically targets Pikachu for capture, seeing the elimination of this living counter-argument as essential to Team Plasma's success. Unlike Canon, where Getsis focuses primarily on obtaining legendary Pokémon, this time he devotes significant resources to developing technology specifically designed to disrupt the emotional bonds between trainers and Pokémon. The resulting conflict becomes more personal and psychological, with Getsis attempting to recreate Giovanni's systematic approach to breaking trainer Pokemon relationships on a regional scale. When Ash reaches the Unova League, his bond phenomenon has evolved even further through constant use and refinement. Cameron, who defeats Ash in canon through Ash's inexplicable decision to bring only 5 Pokemon, instead finds himself facing an opponent whose Pikachu alone can match his entire team. The battle becomes a demonstration of quality over quantity, with Pikachu's enhanced abilities allowing it to sweep Cameron's full team while showcasing different aspects of the bond phenomenon against each opponent. This decisive victory propels Ash to win his first Regional League championship, fundamentally altering his confidence and approach to subsequent competitions. The Kalos region brings new challenges when Ash encounters Mega Evolution for the first time. The bond phenomenon proves compatible with Mega Evolution in unexpected ways, allowing Pikachu to achieve a form of synchronization with Ash that mirrors the trainer Pokemon unity required for successful Mega Evolution. When Ash eventually obtains a Charizard and the corresponding Mega Stone, the combination of his enhanced bonding abilities with Mega Evolution creates a partnership that surpasses even Alan's mastery of the mechanic. This development forces the Kalos League to establish new regulations for bond-enhanced battles, as traditional power scaling becomes inadequate for measuring the strength of Pokemon operating through such deep synchronization. Serena's attraction to Ash takes on new dimensions when she witnesses his enhanced partnership abilities firsthand. Instead of the subtle, romantic tension that plays out in canon, Serena becomes genuinely inspired by the bond phenomenon to pursue deeper connections with her own Pokemon for performances. This leads to Serena developing her own variation of synchronous coordination, building on Dawn's earlier innovations to create performances that showcase the emotional bonds between coordinators and their Pokemon rather than just their technical skills. The resulting performances revolutionize showcases across Kalos, with Serena becoming a pioneer of what eventually becomes known as empathic performance art. Clamont's scientific mind becomes obsessed with understanding the mechanics behind the bond phenomenon, leading him to develop new technologies for measuring and analyzing the emotional connections between trainers and Pokemon. Unlike canon, where Clamont's inventions focus primarily on practical applications, this time his research contributes to the scientific understanding of Pokemon trainer relationships. His documentation becomes essential reference material for researchers across all regions, establishing Clamont as a leading authority on the intersection between technology and Pokemon bonding. The Kalos League final against Alan becomes the ultimate test of different approaches to Pokemon training. Alan's mastery of Mega Evolution represents the pinnacle of traditional power enhancement, while Ash's bond phenomenon demonstrates the potential of emotional synchronization. The battle showcases both philosophies at their peak, with Alan's Mega Charizard X facing Ash's bond-enhanced Pikachu in a clash that determines not just the league championship, but which approach represents the future of Pokemon training. When Pikachu's bond phenomenon allows it to match and eventually overcome Mega Charizard X's raw power through pure synchronization, the victory establishes emotional bonds as a legitimate alternative to traditional power enhancement methods. The crisis with Lysandra and Team Flare takes on new urgency when Lysandra recognizes that the bond phenomenon represents everything he despises about the current world. Instead of focusing solely on legendary Pokemon and Mega Evolution energy, Lysandra specifically targets trainers who have achieved deep emotional bonds with their Pokemon, seeing them as the primary obstacle to his vision of a beautiful world. This makes Ash a direct target of Team Flare operations, leading to personal confrontations that test whether the bond phenomenon can stand against legendary tier threats like Eviltal and the Ultimate Weapon. When Ash and Pikachu face Lysandra's Mega Gyarados in the final confrontation, their bond phenomenon reaches its ultimate expression, allowing Pikachu to generate enough synchronized power to match legendary level attacks. The battle becomes a symbolic representation of the conflict between those who seek power through domination and those who achieve it through partnership, with Pikachu's victory serving as definitive proof that emotional bonds can generate strength equal to any legendary Pokemon or ancient weapon. This triumph cements Ash's reputation as a trainer who has transcended traditional power, scaling through the depth of his Pokemon partnerships. The aftermath of the Kalos crisis fundamentally alters Ash's trajectory when Professor Oak contacts him with an unprecedented offer. Unlike Canon, where Ash simply decides to vacation in Alola, this time he receives a formal invitation from the Ether Foundation to study the bond phenomenon at their research facilities. Professor Kukui and Professor Oak have been collaborating on research into Z-moves and their potential connection to trainer Pokemon emotional synchronization, and Ash's mastery of the bond phenomenon makes him an essential research subject. The Alola region becomes a laboratory for understanding how different cultures and training methods interact with deep emotional bonding, with Ash serving as both student and test subject in groundbreaking Pokemon relationship research. Pikachu's arrival in Alola immediately creates ripple effects throughout the region's Pokemon ecosystem. When Tapu Koko first encounters them, the guardian Pokemon recognizes something unprecedented in their bond, leading to a more intensive and prolonged interaction than in canon. Instead of simply observing and occasionally testing Ash, Tapu Koko becomes actively invested in understanding how the bond phenomenon might enhance or interact with Z-move energy. This leads to Ash receiving his Z-Ring much earlier in his Alola journey, but more importantly, it establishes a direct mentorship relationship between Tapu Koko and both Ash and Pikachu. The Island Guardian begins teaching them advanced techniques for channeling emotional energy, lessons that prove crucial when they eventually face threats that require both Z-move power and bond phenomenon synchronization. The Pokemon school dynamic shifts dramatically when Ash's reputation as a bond phenomenon master precedes him. His classmates approach him not just as a new friend, but as someone who might help them achieve deeper connections with their own Pokemon partners. Lily's relationship with Pokemon, already complicated by her past trauma, becomes the focus of intensive work as Ash applies his understanding of emotional bonding to help her overcome her fears. Unlike Canon, where their friendship develops naturally through shared experiences, this time Ash actively uses techniques learned through his bond phenomenon mastery to create safe spaces for Lily to rebuild her confidence around Pokemon. The process becomes a case study in how emotional healing can be facilitated through the same principles that enable supernatural trainer Pokemon synchronization. Kiawe's fire type specialization creates an immediate connection with Ash's experience, but this time their rivalry takes on deeper dimensions. Kiawe recognizes that Ash's bond phenomenon represents a level of trainer Pokemon connection that transcends traditional Z move mastery, leading him to push his own training methods to achieve similar synchronization with Turtonator. The competitive dynamic drives both trainers to new heights, with Kiawe eventually developing his own variation of enhanced emotional bonding that, while not reaching bond phenomenon levels, significantly amplifies his Z-move effectiveness. Their battles become showcases for different approaches to maximizing trainer Pokemon partnership, with each victory teaching both trainers new techniques for deepening their connections with their teams. Sophocles' technological expertise proves invaluable when Professor Kukui begins serious research into the bond phenomenon's mechanics. Unlike Canon, where Sophocles focuses primarily on general Pokemon technology, this time he becomes specifically invested in developing instruments that can measure and analyze the energy patterns generated during bond phenomenon activation. His work leads to the creation of devices that can detect the early signs of deep trainer Pokemon bonding, potentially allowing other trainers to recognize when they are approaching bond phenomenon capability. The research collaboration between Sophocles, Professor Kukui, and the Ether Foundation establishes Alola as the leading center for trainer Pokemon relationship studies, attracting researchers from every region who want to understand how emotional bonds can generate measurable power increases. Mallow's connection to nature and Pokemon care provides another perspective on the bond phenomenon when she begins working with Ash to understand how nutrition and environmental factors might influence the development of deep trainer Pokemon bonds. Her family's restaurant becomes an unofficial research location where different dietary approaches are tested for their effects on Pokemon emotional well being and bonding potential. The work leads to discoveries about how certain Alolan ingredients can enhance the emotional receptivity of Pokemon, making them more capable of forming the deep connections necessary for bond phenomenon development. These findings revolutionize Pokemon nutrition science and establish new standards for Pokemon care that prioritize emotional health alongside physical conditioning. Lana's expertise with water types creates opportunities for Ash to test whether the bond phenomenon can be adapted to different Pokemon types and personalities. Her Poplio's evolution into Primarina becomes a case study in how performing arts and emotional expression can facilitate the kind of deep bonding that enables supernatural synchronization. Unlike Canon, where Primarina's evolution is primarily driven by Lana's personal growth, this time it occurs through intensive work with Ash on developing emotional communication techniques that eventually allow Lana and Primarina to achieve their own version of enhanced bonding. While not reaching full bond phenomenon levels, Their connection becomes strong enough to generate visible energy effects during Z-move execution, proving that Ash's techniques can be adapted and taught to other trainer Pokemon pairs. The Island Challenge trials take on new significance when each totem Pokemon recognizes the bond phenomenon energy and responds with increased intensity. Totem Gumshoes test not just Pikachu's battle skills, but the stability of their emotional synchronization under pressure, leading to battles that require maintaining bond phenomenon activation while executing complex battle strategies. Totem Wishiwashi's massive school form creates the first situation where Pikachu must use bond phenomenon enhancement to coordinate attacks against multiple targets simultaneously, developing new applications for their synchronized power that prove crucial in later battles. Each trial becomes a laboratory for testing different aspects of bond phenomenon capability, with the totem Pokemon serving as unwitting research partners in understanding the limits and applications of emotional synchronization. Gladion's introduction creates the most complex dynamic in Ash's Alola journey when type, Null's artificial nature, presents a unique challenge for bond phenomenon principles. Unlike natural Pokemon, who form emotional connections through instinct and experience, type, Null's engineered psychology requires completely different approaches to bonding. Ash's work with Gladion becomes a groundbreaking study in whether artificial Pokemon can achieve the same levels of emotional synchronization as naturally born partners. The process leads to type, Null's evolution into Silvally through a combination of traditional trust building and bond phenomenon techniques, creating the first documented case of an artificial Pokemon achieving enhanced emotional bonding with its trainer. The success establishes new protocols for working with artificially created Pokemon and proves that the bond phenomenon transcends the natural versus artificial divide. Ultra Necrozma's emergence as a threat to Alola creates the ultimate test of whether bond phenomenon power can match legendary tier opponents in direct confrontation. Unlike Canon, where the crisis is resolved through traditional Z-move combinations and legendary Pokemon intervention, this time Ash and Pikachu must push their bond phenomenon to unprecedented levels to generate enough power to affect a legendary Pokemon of Necrozma's caliber. The battle requires them to maintain perfect emotional synchronization while channeling energy levels that approach the output of legendary Pokemon themselves, testing whether their bond can sustain the kind of power necessary to influence cosmic level threats. When their combined effort successfully helps restore Necrozma to its true form, the victory establishes bond phenomenon as a legitimate alternative to legendary Pokemon power for addressing world-threatening crises. The Alola League represents the culmination of all the research and development that has occurred throughout Ash's time in the region. Unlike Canon, where Ash wins through a combination of skill, strategy, and favorable matchups, this time his victory comes specifically through the application of advanced bond phenomenon techniques developed through his research collaboration with Professor Kukui and the Ether Foundation. Each battle showcases different applications of emotional synchronization, from enhanced speed and power to improved battle prediction and strategy coordination. The final match against Gladion becomes a showcase for how two different approaches to deep trainer Pokemon bonding can create an epic confrontation, with Ash's natural bond phenomenon facing Gladion's artificially enhanced connection with Silvally in a battle that determines which methodology represents the future of competitive Pokemon training. Professor Kukui's exhibition match takes on special significance when he reveals that his research into Ash's bond phenomenon has led him to develop his own enhanced bonding techniques with Incineroar. The battle becomes a test of student versus teacher, with Kukui applying scientific principles to achieve emotional synchronization, while Ash relies on the intuitive connection that has always defined his approach. The match demonstrates how bond phenomenon principles can be learned and applied systematically rather than just discovered accidentally, opening possibilities for training programs that could help other trainers achieve similar levels of Pokemon partnership. Ash's victory proves that while the techniques can be studied and replicated, the original bond phenomenon still represents the pinnacle of trainer Pokemon emotional connection. The transition to Go's partnership in the Journeys series creates entirely new dynamics when Go encounters a trainer who has already mastered the deepest possible connection with his Pokemon partner. Unlike canon, where Go and Ash develop their friendship through shared adventures and complementary approaches to Pokemon, this time Go becomes specifically interested in understanding whether his catch everything methodology can coexist with bond phenomenon principles. The partnership becomes a study in contrasting philosophies, with Go's quantity focused approach challenging Ash's depth oriented bonding, while both trainers learn from each other's methods. Go's eventual development of stronger individual relationships with key Pokemon like Cinderace occurs through applying modified bond phenomenon techniques, proving that the principles can enhance any training approach rather than replacing it entirely. The World Coronation Series becomes the ultimate proving ground for bond phenomenon mastery when Ash faces opponents who represent every major training philosophy and power enhancement method. Leon's championship level team requires Ash and Pikachu to push their emotional synchronization beyond every previous limit, maintaining bond phenomenon activation through extended battles against multiple opponents while adapting their strategy to counter Leon's unpredictable battle style. The final confrontation with Charizard becomes a symbolic clash between traditional training excellence and revolutionary bonding techniques, with Pikachu's bond phenomenon allowing it to match Charizard's raw power, while demonstrating the tactical advantages that come from perfect trainer Pokemon communication. When Pikachu's final Thunderbolt, amplified through maximum bond phenomenon synchronization, defeats Leon's Charizard to claim the World Championship, the victory establishes emotional bonding as the ultimate expression of Pokemon training mastery. The achievement represents more than just a personal victory for Ash and Pikachu. Their World Championship proves that the bond phenomenon offers a path to the highest levels of Pokemon training success that any dedicated trainer can potentially achieve through sufficient emotional investment and partnership development. Unlike Mega Evolution, Z moves, or Dynamax, which require specific items, locations, or Pokemon capabilities, the bond phenomenon depends only on the depth of connection between trainer and Pokemon, making it theoretically accessible to anyone willing to invest in building that relationship. The implications revolutionize competitive Pokemon training as trainers worldwide begin prioritizing emotional bonding alongside traditional battle conditioning, fundamentally changing how Pokemon partnerships are developed and maintained. And just like that, we see how one decision changed everything. If Team Rocket had successfully caught Pikachu in that first encounter, Ash would have developed the bond phenomenon through partnership with a different Pokemon, mastered emotional synchronization as his signature technique, won the Kalos League through revolutionary bonding methods, established new scientific understanding of trainer Pokemon relationships, pioneered enhanced connection techniques across multiple regions, and ultimately claimed the World Championship through the deepest possible expression of Pokemon partnership, proving that true strength comes not from capturing Pokemon, but from the bonds we build with them. The immediate aftermath of Team Rocket finally catching Pikachu would have plunged Ash into a crisis of identity unlike anything he had faced in canon. Without his starter, his journey as we know it would have been fundamentally altered. The initial shock and devastation would be profound. In canon, Ash's bond with Pikachu was immediate and undeniable, a deep connection forged through shared adversity and mutual respect. This time, that foundational relationship is severed before it can fully blossom. So, what does this mean for Ash's path as a trainer? His initial goal of becoming a Pokemon master remains, but the means to achieve it are now drastically different. Instead of the defiant, electrically charged companion, Ash is left without his first and most iconic partner. The narrative of an underdog trainer with an exceptionally powerful, albeit disobedient, Pikachu is gone. This pivotal moment, the successful capture of Pikachu, would likely occur in the very first episode, perhaps even before Ash reaches Professor Oak's lab in Pallet Town. Imagine if Team Rocket, in their very first appearance, is surprisingly competent. They observe Ash's initial struggles with Pikachu, see the potential, and execute a flawless capture plan. Jessie, James, and Meowth, for once, succeed. They whisk Pikachu away, leaving a bewildered, heartbroken Ash behind. The immediate ripple effect is that Ash does not receive a different Kanto starter from Professor Oak. The narrative of him oversleeping and being left with Pikachu is intertwined with the idea that the other starters were already taken. If Pikachu is captured, Ash arrives at the lab and there are no starters left. This sends Ash on a different, more challenging trajectory from the outset. He might be given an egg, or perhaps even a less conventional starter, like a Rattata or a Spearow, a Pokemon he catches himself out of desperation, reflecting his newfound vulnerability and a need to prove himself. For the sake of this hypothetical, let us say Professor Oak, seeing Ash's sorrow but also his fierce determination, gives him a freshly hatched Pichu egg, knowing the potential for a new bond to form. This Pichu, unlike the wild and seasoned Pikachu, starts as an infant, requiring Ash to learn patience and nurturing from day one. The journey through Kanto, then, becomes a narrative of growth for both Ash and his new Pichu. Without the immediate power of Pikachu, Ash has to learn true training fundamentals from the ground up. He can't rely on raw strength. He must develop strategy, understanding, and empathy. Pichu's early battles are challenging, and Ash experiences more losses than in canon. This early struggle forges a different kind of resilience. Pichu eventually evolves into Pikachu, but this Pikachu is different. It is not the defiant, independent force of canon. It is a loyal, deeply bonded partner, shaped by Ash's early struggles and careful nurturing. This Pikachu, having hatched from an egg, understands Ash's efforts on a fundamental level, fostering an even deeper emotional connection. Brock and Misty still join Ash, their initial interactions providing some much needed companionship and guidance for a trainer stripped of his iconic partner. Brock's wisdom about Pokemon care resonates more deeply with Ash, who is now responsible for a young developing Pichu. Misty's dynamic with Ash shifts, as there's no initial rivalry over Pikachu's electric attacks. Instead, she might tease him about his new, weaker starter, unknowingly pushing him to work harder. Team Rocket's presence is also altered. Their initial success in capturing Pikachu gives them a false sense of superiority, making them even more arrogant. They continue to pursue rare and powerful Pokemon, but their primary obsession with Ash's Pikachu is gone. They still cross paths with Ash, but their encounters are less personal, more focused on their general goal of stealing Pokemon. This might make them slightly more effective as a criminal organization, as they are not singularly focused on one individual's Pokemon. They might even achieve minor successes, selling off captured Pokemon on the black market, which would be a darker turn for the comedic trio. However, their incompetence ultimately remains a core character trait, and they would still fail spectacularly in the long run. The Kanto Gym Challenge plays out with Ash's new Pikachu. While the challenges remain formidable, Ash's improved strategic thinking and the deep bond with his nurtured Pikachu allow him to secure the necessary badges. The bond, still in its nascent stages, doesn't yet manifest as the bond phenomenon, but it is the fertile ground from which it will eventually spring. This Pikachu might not be as overtly powerful as Canon Pikachu initially, but its loyalty and willingness to follow Ash's commands are absolute. The Indigo League, like in canon, would likely be a learning experience. Ash would still make mistakes, but perhaps his losses would be attributed less to raw power disparity and more to tactical oversights that he would then learn from. The early nurturing of Pichu would instill a greater sense of responsibility and a deeper understanding of each Pokemon's individual needs, rather than relying on a single, overpowered partner. When Ash travels to the Orange Islands, his new Pikachu shines. The challenges there, often requiring unique solutions and teamwork, are perfectly suited for Ash's developing strategic mind and his well-bonded team. The Orange League win, while still a significant achievement, becomes a testament to Ash's ability to adapt and overcome, rather than the raw power of a single, exceptionally strong Pokemon. Johto follows similarly, but with a crucial difference. Ash's focus on nurturing his Pokemon and understanding their individual strengths is now a deeply ingrained habit. This leads to a more balanced team composition and a greater willingness to rotate his Pokemon. This is where the foundation for the bond phenomenon truly begins to solidify. He learns to anticipate his Pikachu's movements, to read its emotions, and to communicate without words, not just through instinct, but through deliberate training. In Hoenn, the bond phenomenon starts to subtly manifest, not as the explosive power of Kalos, but as an almost prescient understanding between Ash and Pikachu during battles. They move as one, anticipating attacks and executing strategies with uncanny synchronicity. This gives Ash an edge, allowing him to contend with more experienced trainers and formidable opponents. He might even win the Hoenn Leagues, not through brute force, but through a masterful display of teamwork and understanding. Here, we see the first true ripple of the initial change. Ash, having lost his original Pikachu, has learned a deeper, more profound way of connecting with his Pokémon, turning adversity into innovation. The battle frontier, then, becomes a crucible for this developing bond. The unique challenges of each frontier brain force Ash and Pikachu to push their emotional and strategic limits. The increased difficulty and variety of opponents further hone their connection. This time, Ash definitively conquers the battle frontier, securing the title of Frontier Brain, a testament to his unique training philosophy centered on emotional bonding. Sinnoh is where the bond phenomenon would become undeniably apparent to Ash himself, even if not yet named or fully understood. The intense rivalries with Paul and Barry and the challenging gym leaders demand Ash's absolute best. His Pikachu, through sheer force of will and emotional resonance with Ash, begins to display bursts of enhanced strength and speed that surprise even Ash. This is not just a strong Pikachu, it's a Pikachu whose power is directly proportional to Ash's emotional investment and focus. The bond allows them to overcome opponents that would otherwise be insurmountable. He might even win the Sinnoh League, defeating Paul in a climactic battle that showcases the raw, untamed power of their synchronized emotions. Unova in canon was a soft reset for Ash, with many of his experienced Pokémon left behind. In this timeline, however, the lessons of the bond phenomenon are too deeply ingrained to be completely ignored. While he still catches new Unova Pokémon, he applies the same principles of deep emotional connection to them. His Unova team therefore develops stronger bonds and performs at a higher level than in canon. This makes his Unova journey more successful, and he likely reaches the finals of the Unova League, perhaps even clinching the victory, showcasing the versatility of the bond phenomenon principle. Then comes Kalos, the region that, in canon, introduced the bond phenomenon with Greninja, but this time it is Pikachu who is the pioneer. The concept of synchronized evolution or power enhancement through trainer Pokemon bond is already implicitly understood by Ash. He has been living it for years. Kalos simply provides the explicit framework and scientific understanding. Professor Sycamore, instead of studying Ash Greninja, would be utterly fascinated by Ash's Pikachu. The unique power surge, the visual manifestation of their bond, would be the subject of intense research. Ash and Pikachu become the living embodiment of this phenomenon. The challenges of the Kalos League, especially against powerful mega evolutions, become the perfect stage for Ash and Pikachu to master this explicit bond phenomenon. The rivalry with Alan and his Mega Charizard X would still be intense, but this time, Pikachu, channeling the full force of its bond with Ash, would face Mega Charizard X in a climactic battle, not just matching its power, but potentially surpassing it through pure emotional synchronization. Ash wins the Kalos League, a moment that solidifies the bond phenomenon as a legitimate and incredibly powerful training method. The Alola region, with its focus on Z moves and the deep cultural connection between people and Pokemon, would be a natural progression for Ash and his bond phenomenon Pikachu. The Island Guardians and the Kahunas would recognize the profound connection between Ash and Pikachu, seeing it as a manifestation of the same reverence and spiritual bond that underpins Alolan traditions. Ash would still collect Z crystals, but their power would be amplified even further by the bond phenomenon. Imagine a 10,000 volt thunderbolt, not just powerful, but imbued with the raw emotional energy of Ash and Pikachu's unbreakable bond. The Alola League in this timeline is a clear victory for Ash, cementing his status as a champion who relies not on external power ups alone, but on the intrinsic strength of his relationships. Finally, the World Coronation series in Journeys. This is where Ash's journey culminates. His bond phenomenon Pikachu is now a recognized force, a topic of discussion among the world's elite trainers. The series becomes a platform to showcase the full potential of this revolutionary training method. Ash faces opponents like Raihan, Cynthia, and Lance, each battle pushing the limits of his and Pikachu's bond. The unique challenges of each opponent, whether it is Gigantamax, Mega Evolution, or Z moves, are met with the unwavering power of the bond phenomenon. The final battle against Leon and his seemingly invincible Charizard is the ultimate test. Leon, the undefeated champion, represents traditional training excellence, a trainer who has mastered every aspect of battle. Ash, with his bond phenomenon Pikachu, represents the future, a trainer who has unlocked a deeper dimension of Pokémon power through emotional synchronization. The battle would be a spectacle, a clash of titans, with Charizard's raw power and Leon's strategic genius countered by Pikachu's unparalleled speed, agility, and the explosive, emotionally charged power of its bond phenomenon. Each move, each dodge, each attack from Pikachu would be a testament to the years of shared experiences, the trials overcome, and the unbreakable trust between trainer and Pokémon. When Pikachu, channeling every ounce of their shared will and emotion, unleashes a final devastating attack, a bond phenomenon amplified Electro Ball or a supercharged Thunderbolt, and defeats Leon's Charizard, the world watches in awe. Ash becomes the world champion, not just through skill, but through the profound revolutionary power of his bond with Pikachu. The initial tragedy of losing his first Pikachu in that fateful encounter would have ultimately led him to discover a power far greater and more personal than he could have ever imagined. It proves that sometimes losing something familiar forces us to find something extraordinary. The world of Pokemon training is forever changed, with trainers everywhere inspired to forge deeper, more meaningful bonds with their own partners, understanding that the true strength of a Pokemon master lies not in their ability to capture, but in their capacity to connect. The story of Team Rocket's eventual capture of Pikachu is not a simple tale of success, but a complex series of events that forever alter the very fabric of the Pokemon world, rippling out from the initial moment to reshape Ash's journey, the fate of Team Rocket, and even the established order of power. Without Ash at the helm, Pikachu exists in a new state of vulnerability, a highly sought-after prize for the nefarious organization. The capture itself plays out differently than any of their countless foiled attempts. Instead of a clumsy net or a flimsy trap, Team Rocket in this timeline employs a far more sophisticated strategy, one born of Giovanni's increasing impatience and a rare moment of strategic brilliance from Jessie, James, and Meowth. They managed to isolate Pikachu during one of Ash and Go's journeys, perhaps during their research in the Galar region, a place where the unfamiliar landscape and the presence of Dynamax energy create a unique opportunity. They don't just grab Pikachu, they use a specialized high frequency sonic device developed by Matori, designed to disorient electric types specifically. Pikachu, overwhelmed by the sensory assault, is unable to retaliate with a thunderbolt or quick attack, falling into a specialized non conductive cage designed to suppress its electric abilities. The moment itself is swift, brutal, and utterly successful. Jessie, James, and Meowth, for the first time in their careers, actually managed to transport Pikachu, secured and neutralized, back to Team Rocket headquarters. This is the pivotal moment, the point of no return. The immediate aftermath is chaos, but not for Team Rocket. Ash is, predictably, devastated. His bond with Pikachu is the cornerstone of his identity as a trainer. The loss is not just that of a Pokémon, but of his oldest, most steadfast companion. Unlike Canon, where Pikachu always returns, this time the retrieval mission fails. Team Rocket's security, now bolstered by the success of securing such a high profile target, is impenetrable to Ash and his friends. This loss fundamentally changes Ash's trajectory. The carefree, optimistic trainer we know from Canon is replaced by a more somber, driven individual. His goal shifts from becoming a Pokemon master to initially retrieving Pikachu. When that proves impossible, his focus becomes honing his skills to such an extent that no one could ever take a Pokemon from him again. Team Rocket, on the other hand, experiences an unprecedented surge in status and resources. Giovanni, initially skeptical, is genuinely impressed. The trio, Jessie, James, and Meowth, are lauded as heroes within the organization. They are given promotions, advanced equipment, and a much larger budget. Meowth's ability to translate Pikachu's thoughts and emotions becomes a key asset, providing Giovanni with invaluable insight into the mind of a truly powerful, untamed electric type. But what does Giovanni want with Pikachu? Unlike the anime's often comedic portrayal of Team Rocket's schemes, Giovanni's intentions are always grander, more sinister. He doesn't just want Pikachu for its power. He wants it for its unique connection to Ash, its potential as a weapon, and its symbolic value. Pikachu, in this timeline, becomes the centerpiece of Project Lightning, a secret initiative to harness and replicate the immense power of Ash's Pikachu, not just its electrical output, but its unique energy signature, its unwavering loyalty, and his demonstrated ability to overcome seemingly impossible odds. Project Lightning, under Giovanni's direct supervision and Matori's scientific expertise, involves a series of ethically dubious experiments. Pikachu is subjected to various tests, its moves analyzed, its electrical output measured, its resilience pushed. Meowth, initially reveling in his elevated status, finds himself increasingly conflicted. He understands Pikachu's pain, its longing for Ash, and the cruelty of its confinement. Unlike Canon, where Meowth often participates in tormenting Pikachu, here he becomes a reluctant confidant, translating Pikachu's defiant screeches and silent grief to Giovanni. This internal conflict seeds a crucial divergence for Meowth's character arc. Ash's journey without Pikachu takes a starkly different path. His Kanto journey, already well underway at the point of Pikachu's capture, concludes with a palpable sense of loss. He still collects badges, still battles the Elite Four, but the familiar spark, the unwavering confidence, is dimmed. He relies more heavily on his other Pokémon, pushing Charizard, Bulbasaur, and Squirtle to new heights. Charizard, in particular, becomes his new ace, its power growing exponentially in response to Ash's heightened need for strength. The bond between Ash and Charizard deepens, not out of the usual mutual respect, but a shared understanding of loss and a burning desire for power. He competes in the Indigo Leagues, but without Pikachu's unpredictable brilliance and raw power, he often struggles more than in canon. While he still performs admirably, he doesn't achieve the same level of success, perhaps not even making it as far as the top 16, a humbling defeat that further fuels his drive. As Ash moves into Johto, the absence of Pikachu is acutely felt. His initial hesitation to form new bonds is noticeable. He becomes more reserved, less prone to the spontaneous antics that defined his early journey. He travels with his faithful Charizard, whose loyalty is now absolute. He catches new Pokémon, like Bayleaf and Totodile, but his connection to them is more pragmatic, less emotionally charged, at least initially. He trains them rigorously, focusing on efficiency and power. He still faces off against Team Rocket, but the encounters are more intense, filled with a simmering rage that wasn't present before. Jessie, James, and Meowth, now higher up in the organization, are more competent, and their battles against Ash are not the comedic relief they once were. They are genuine threats. Ash, fueled by his past failure, often pushes his Pokemon to their absolute limits to secure victories against them. The ripple effect extends to Brock and Misty as well. They witness Ash's transformation firsthand. Misty, ever the emotional anchor, tries to comfort him, but the depth of his grief is beyond her usual cheerful demeanor. Brock, with his practical wisdom, encourages Ash to channel his pain into strength, to not let the loss define him negatively. Their support helps keep Ash from spiraling, but the dynamic of the trio is irrevocably altered. They are no longer just friends on an adventure, they are companions united by a shared sorrow and a common enemy in Team Rocket. In this timeline, the focus on legendary Pokemon and ancient powers becomes even more pronounced for Ash. Without Pikachu, Ash seeks external sources of strength, perhaps even getting involved in the mysteries of the unknown or the secrets of the Celebi, aiming to understand powers that could potentially counter the might of an organization like Team Rocket. Unlike Canon, where he often stumbled into these situations, here he actively pursues them, driven by a desire to never be helpless again. Team Rocket, meanwhile, finds itself facing new challenges from within. While Project Lightning yields promising results, the ethical implications, particularly for Meowth, become unbearable. Meowth, witnessing Pikachu's suffering and understanding its desperate desire for freedom, begins to sabotage the project in subtle ways. He misinterprets data, delays experiments, and it even provides false information, all in an attempt to protect Pikachu. This is a slow burn, a gradual shift in his loyalty, unlike the more sudden moments of compassion seen in canon. He's torn between his loyalty to Giovanni and his growing empathy for Pikachu. The Wallace Cup in Sinnoh still happens, but without Pikachu, a Dawn's Ambipom doesn't have its iconic partner. Ash's Sinnoh journey is also different. He still aims for the league, but his competitive edge is sharper, more focused. He trains tougher, pushes harder. His Infernape, a testament to his ability to bring out the best in a neglected Pokémon, becomes an even more dominant force. He still manages to defeat Paul, but the victory feels hollow without Pikachu by his side, a constant reminder of the unfinished business he has with Team Rocket. The Unova region sees Ash adopting a more serious demeanor from the outset. He doesn't make the same rookie mistakes he did in canon. His team, while still diverse, is chosen with a clear strategic intent. Oshawott, Snivy, and Tepig are trained with an intensity that reflects his unwavering resolve. He still meets N, but their conversations about the nature of Pokemon liberation strike a deeper chord with Ash, who understands the pain of a Pokemon held captive. This bond with N might even lead to Ash joining N's cause more actively, seeking to dismantle Team Plasma's operations not just for the good of the region, but as a broader form of resistance against organizations that control Pokemon against their will, a thinly veiled connection to his own vendettas against Team Rocket. The Kalos region, without Pikachu, means no Ash Greninja, at least not in the same way. However, the concept of a powerful bond remains central to Ash's character. His Greninja, still a force to be reckoned with, might instead develop a unique ability, a heightened form of battle bond that doesn't rely on the precise visual changes of Ash Greninja, but on a raw, unadulterated surge of power when Ash's emotions run high. This Greninja could become his secondary ace, a powerful water-type counterpart to his Charizard, both embodying his relentless pursuit of strength. Alan's Mega Charizard X still presents a formidable challenge, and Ash's Greninja, without the specific bond phenomenon that defined their canon rivalry, might still fall short, but the battle would be a testament to the raw power Ash can now draw from his Pokémon. In Alola, the school experience is less about self-discovery and more about acquiring knowledge and new techniques. Ash fully embraces Z moves, recognizing them as a potential counter to the advanced technology of Team Rocket. He masters several Z moves, not just the electric type ones. His Lycanroc, now his loyal companion, becomes a master of Accelerock, and his Incineroar becomes a formidable fire type, their bonds forged in the crucible of Ash's renewed determination. He still becomes the Alola champion, but the victory is not just a celebration. It's a statement, a declaration that even without his original partner, he can still reach the pinnacle. The World Coronation Series in Journeys becomes Ash's ultimate stage. His Charizard, now fully a Mega Charizard X, and his Bond Greninja, or whatever powerful form it takes in this timeline, alongside his other formidable Pokemon, make him a true contender. Team Rocket, by this point, has grown significantly in influence, their Project Lightning yielding limited but real results in creating enhanced electric-type Pokemon for their own forces. Giovanni now commands an army of these augmented Pokemon, and the organization is a global threat, not just a regional annoyance. Ash's rivalry with Leon takes on an entirely new dimension. Leon, still the undefeated champion, represents the pinnacle of traditional training. Ash, however, now represents something more. He is the symbol of resilience, of a trainer who suffered an immense loss and rebuilt himself stronger, more focused, and utterly devoted to his Pokemon. The final battle against Leon is not just for the title of world champion, it is a symbolic clash. Ash, with his Mega Charizard X and Bond Greninja leading the charge, faces down Leon's insurmountable team. The battle is a testament to Ash's growth, his strategic brilliance, and the unbreakable bonds he now shares with all his Pokemon, bonds forged in the crucible of loss and a burning desire for justice. He manages to defeat Leon, not just through sheer power, but through a cunning strategy that leverages the unique abilities of his diverse team, a testament to his journey of learning and adaptation. But the story doesn't end there. After becoming world champion, Ash's ultimate goal shifts. He no longer seeks just to be a Pokemon master. He seeks to dismantle Team Rocket. His victory in the World Coronation Series provides him with the platform and the influence to rally others to his cause. He becomes a leader, an icon of resistance against the oppressive forces that steal Pokemon. His journey culminates in a direct confrontation with Giovanni and the fully realized Project Lightning. Pikachu, meanwhile, has been irrevocably changed by its time with Team Rocket. It's stronger, yes, but also scarred. Meowth, having reached his breaking point, finally makes his move. He facilitates Pikachu's escape, a moment of profound betrayal for Team Rocket, but a desperate act of redemption for Meowth. This escape is not a clean break. It's a chaotic, destructive event that cripples a significant portion of Team Rocket's research and facilities. The reunion between Ash and Pikachu is not the tearful, joyous embrace one might expect. It's a moment of quiet understanding, of shared trauma and renewed resolve. Pikachu, though free, bears the weight of its captivity. Ash, though triumphant, carries the scars of his loss. Together, they confront Giovanni. This final battle is not a league match. It's a war for the future of Pokemon. Ash, with his full team, including his long-lost Pikachu, now a hardened veteran of Team Rocket's experiments, faces Giovanni's enhanced Pokémon, the products of Project Lightning. Pikachu, unleashing a full-power Thunderbolt, now imbued with a ferocity born of its captivity, is instrumental in dismantling Giovanni's operations. The battle is brutal, reflecting the years of pain and conflict. Giovanni is finally defeated, his organization shattered, not by a single trainer's might, but by the combined force of a trainer who refused to give up and a Pokemon that refused to be broken. The world of Pokemon, in this timeline, is forever changed. Team Rocket, as a global threat, is neutralized. Ash, the world champion, dedicates himself to protecting Pokemon from all forms of exploitation, becoming a true guardian. Pikachu, while never fully recovering from its ordeal, finds a new purpose, not just as Ash's partner, but as a symbol of hope and resilience for all Pokemon. Meowth, now a free agent, dedicates his life to atoning for his past, perhaps even working alongside Ash in a new capacity. The initial capture of Pikachu, a moment of tragic success for Team Rocket, ultimately birthed a new kind of hero, a more resilient Ash, a more formidable Pikachu, and a world where the fight for Pokemon freedom became a central tenet of the Pokemon Master journey. What if Team Rocket finally caught Pikachu? It means the true power of bonds would not be celebrated in victory, but forged in the crucible of loss, ultimately leading to a more profound understanding of what it means to be a Pokemon master in a world reshaped by a single, successful capture. The world of Pokemon in this timeline is forever changed. Team Rocket, as a global threat, is neutralized. Ash, the world champion, dedicates himself to protecting Pokemon from all forms of exploitation, becoming a true guardian. Pikachu, while never fully recovering from its ordeal, finds a new purpose, not just as Ash's partner, but as a symbol of hope and resilience for all Pokemon. Meowth, now a free agent, dedicates his life to atoning for his past, perhaps even working alongside Ash in a new capacity. The initial capture of Pikachu, a moment of tragic success for Team Rocket, ultimately birthed a new kind of hero, a more resilient Ash, a more formidable Pikachu, and a world where the fight for Pokemon freedom became a central tenet of the Pokemon Master journey. What if Team Rocket finally caught Pikachu? It means the true power of bonds would not be celebrated in victory, but forged in the crucible of loss, ultimately leading to a more profound understanding of what it means to be a Pokemon master in a world reshaped by a single successful capture. This single successful capture by Team Rocket, unlike the countless failed attempts in canon, irrevocably altered the trajectory of Ash's journey, and by extension, the entire Pokemon world. The Kanto League, in this version of the story, sees a different Ash. Without Pikachu as his constant companion and primary battler, Ash's Kanto journey is marked by a more pronounced reliance on his other Pokemon. Bulbasaur, Squirtle, and Charizard, along with Pidgeotto, Butterfree, and eventually Kingler, Primeape, and Mug, shoulder the burden. Ash, driven by the desperation of Pikachu's loss, pushes his team harder, focusing on strategic development rather than the more instinctual, almost casual approach seen in canon. His bond with these Pokemon deepens out of necessity, a shared grief and determination fueling their growth. The Indigo League, for Ash, becomes a stark reminder of his missing partner. He battles with an intensity born of his desire to become strong enough to rescue Pikachu. While he still progresses through the rounds, his journey culminates in a more decisive loss than in canon. Without Pikachu's raw power and unpredictable skill, Ash struggles against opponents like Richie and his Sparky. The emotional weight of his quest, while driving him, also sometimes clouds his judgment, leading to errors in critical moments. He falls short of the top 16, a result that, while disheartening, only hardens his resolve. This time, his focus isn't just on becoming a Pokemon master, it's on becoming a rescuer. The Orange Islands arc, unlike canon, doesn't serve as a leisurely adventure. Ash, still reeling from his Kanto loss and Pikachu's absence, approaches the challenges with a grim determination. His Lapras, a Pokemon he bonds with deeply in canon, becomes even more central to his team, representing a new kind of partnership forged in adversity. His Snorlax, caught with a renewed focus on team diversity and power, becomes a true powerhouse. The Orange League Challenge, a test of strategy and Pokemon care, is something Ash tackles with an advanced maturity. He still faces Drake and his formidable Dragonite. This battle is a grueling test of endurance, but Ash, leveraging the unique strengths of his entire team, including a powerful Charizard who, in this timeline, had a slightly more accelerated growth due to Ash's heightened urgency, manages to secure the win. The Orange League trophy, however, is a hollow victory, a stepping stone rather than a destination. It reinforces his belief that he is getting stronger, but the ultimate goal remains Pikachu. Johto follows, and here the ripples become even more pronounced. Ash, now a seasoned trainer with an Orange League win under his belt, approaches Johto with a different mindset. He's less prone to the early mistakes of his canon self. His Chikorita, Cyndaquil, and Totodile are raised with a more deliberate hand. Bayleaf, Quilava, and Feraligatr evolve faster, reflecting Ash's enhanced training regimen. He still encounters Team Rocket, but his interactions are charged with a personal vendetta. Jessie, James, and Meowth, while still incompetent, represent the organization that holds his best friend. Ash is more aggressive in confronting them, often unleashing his stronger Pokémon without restraint, forcing them to retreat faster than in canon. This increased pressure on the trio, combined with Giovanni's renewed focus on Project Lightning, starts to sow the seeds of doubt and fear within them earlier. The Johto League, like his previous league attempts, is still a major hurdle. Silver, the rival from the games, makes a more prominent appearance in this timeline, a cold and calculating trainer who serves as a stark contrast to Ash's passion. Ash, having cultivated a deeper bond with his Johto team and his Kanto powerhouses, performs admirably. He still faces Harrison and his Blaziken, a powerful opponent. The battle is a showcase of Ash's growth, his Bayleaf evolving into a Meganium, and his Charizard dominating the field. This time, however, Ash pushes past the canonical top 8. He reaches the semifinals, only to be narrowly defeated by a trainer who in canon would never have stood a chance against a Pikachu-powered Ash. It's a testament to the persistent absence of his electric powerhouse. Hoenn represents another shift. Ash, still driven by the search for Pikachu, meets May and Max. His mentorship of May is more focused, almost intense. He imparts lessons not just about battling, but about resilience, about fighting for what you believe in. His Trico, Torchic, and Mudkip, raised with this new sense of purpose, develop into Sceptile, Blaziken, and Swampert with remarkable speed. Sceptile, in particular, becomes a central figure, its speed and power echoing the electric agility of his lost partner. Ash's rivalry with Morrison and Tyson is still present, but his battles are fought with a greater sense of urgency. The Hoenn League, while a strong showing, still sees Ash fall short of the victory. The consistent pattern of near wins and losses without Pikachu highlights the irreplaceable role the electric mouse played. The battle frontier, however, is where Ash truly begins to shine without Pikachu. This challenge demands not just raw power, but adaptability, strategy, and deep understanding of Pokémon. Ash, having cultivated these traits out of necessity, excels. He conquers each frontier brain, utilizing his diverse team and the bonds forged through adversity. His Sceptile masters its Overgrow ability, his Swellow becomes an aerial ace, and his Donphan, a powerful ground type, anchors his team. The final battle against Brandon and his legendary Pokémon is still a monumental challenge. Ash, employing a combination of his Kanto and Hoenn teams, including a powerful Charizard, Sceptile, and Snorlax, manages to secure the victory, earning him the title of Frontier Brain. This achievement, a significant milestone in canon, becomes even more meaningful here, proving Ash's strength even without his original partner. Sinnoh is a region of immense growth. Ash, now a Battle Frontier champion, enters Sinnoh with a confidence born from his hard-won victories. He meets Dawn, and his role as a mentor is even more pronounced. His Infernape, a powerful fire-fighting type, has a more impactful rivalry with Paul. The neglect and abuse Infernape suffered under Paul mirrors, in Ash's mind, the exploitation Pikachu is likely enduring under Team Rocket. This fuels Ash's determination to help Infernape reach its full potential, a mirror to his own desire to free Pikachu. His Geibel, Buizel, and Staraptor all grow into formidable opponents. The Sinnoh League, known for its intense rivalries and powerful trainers, becomes Ash's most significant challenge yet. He faces Paul in a climactic battle, a brutal, strategic showcase that pushes both trainers to their limits. Ash, with his Infernape, Skeptile and a powerful Swampert from Hoenn manages to overcome Paul's formidable team. He progresses further than in canon, making it to the finals, where he faces Tobias and his legendary Pokémon. This time, Ash, with his carefully curated and deeply bonded team, manages to defeat Darkrai. He pushes Tobias to his limits, forcing him to unveil his Latios. The battle is legendary, a testament to Ash's journey. However, without Pikachu's unexpected agility and electric type advantage, Ash is ultimately defeated. He loses, but not without earning the respect of Tobias and the entire Sinnoh region. He's proven himself capable of challenging legendaries, a feat few trainers could boast. Unova, in this timeline, serves as a period of reflection and strategic development. Ash, recognizing the gaps in his team and his own weaknesses, approaches Unova with a renewed focus on strategy and type matchups. He catches a diverse array of Pokémon, including Crocodile, Leavanny, Pignite, and Oshawott. His rivalry with Trip is still present, but Ash's maturity means he's less prone to underestimating his opponents. The Unova League, a less prestigious league in canon, becomes an opportunity for Ash to refine his tactics. He still loses to Cameron, but the loss is less about underestimation and more about Cameron's unpredictable style and Ash's deliberate experimentation with new strategies. This time, however, Ash doesn't leave his Pokémon with Professor Oak. He keeps them, training them for the inevitable confrontation with Team Rocket. Kalos is where Ash's journey truly culminates before his ultimate confrontation. The bond phenomenon with Greninja, a defining moment in canon, becomes even more potent. This unique ability, a reflection of an unbreakable bond, takes on a deeper meaning for Ash. It represents the ultimate expression of trust and understanding between trainer and Pokémon, the very thing he yearns to rekindle with Pikachu. His Holucha, Talonflame, and Gudra are all powerful additions, but Greninja is his ace. The rivalry with Alan and his Mega Charizard X is still central. This time, however, Ash, with the full power of his Kalos team and the raw emotional depth of his bond phenomenon Greninja, finally defeats Alain. He wins the Kalos League. This victory is not just a personal triumph, it's a statement. It proves that Ash, even without Pikachu, is capable of reaching the pinnacle of regional competition. The Kalos League trophy, held aloft, is a symbol of his unwavering resolve. The world takes notice. His name, now synonymous with strength and an unbreakable spirit, reaches the ears of Giovanni. Alola, for Ash, is a brief but impactful detour. The Island Challenge provides a refreshing change of pace, and the Zub moves offer a new dimension to his battling style. His Rowlet, Litten, and Rockruff are still captured and developed, with Incineroar and Lycanroc, Dusk form, becoming strong members of his team. While he enjoys the challenges, his primary focus remains on the looming threat of Team Rocket. The Alola League, in this version, is not a major goal. Ash participates, but his attention is split. He still manages to win the Alola League, showcasing his diverse skills and the power of Z moves, but it feels secondary. The true fight is yet to come. Journeys is where the narrative converges with the direct consequences of Pikachu's capture. Ash, now a world champion, has a clear goal: dismantle Team Rocket and rescue Pikachu. His journey through the World Coronation series is expedited. He battles strong trainers not just for rank, but to hone his skills for the ultimate confrontation. His Gengar, Dragonite, and Lucario are trained with intense focus. Lucario, in particular, with its aura abilities, becomes a key player, its ability to sense and connect with others, hinting at the deep emotional bonds that define Ash's quest. The Masters 8 tournament is still a challenge, but Ash, leveraging his experience, his diverse team, and his unyielding spirit, defeats every opponent. He faces Leon in the finals. This ultimate battle, a clash of champions, is a testament to Ash's growth. His Greninja, brought back from Kalos, his Lucario, and his powerful Charizard from Kanto, alongside his other champions, push Leon to his absolute limit. Ash, demonstrating a mastery of strategy, type matchups, and the unique abilities of all his Pokémon, emerges victorious. He is the monarch, the strongest trainer in the world, a title he earned without his original partner, but fueled by the very absence of that partner. And then the moment arrives. The intelligence gathered by the World Coronation Series organization, combined with Ash's unwavering pursuit, finally pinpoints Team Rocket's main facility. The confrontation is not a simple battle, it's a full-scale assault. Ash, as the reigning monarch, leads the charge, not as a single trainer, but as the figurehead of a global coalition dedicated to ending Team Rocket's reign of terror. He is joined by former rivals, champions he's defeated, and even gym leaders, all united against a common enemy. The facility is a fortress filled with enhanced Pokémon, and the air crackles with the dark energy of Project Lightning. Ash battles through waves of rocket grunts and executives, his team a testament to his journey. Charizard unleashes an inferno, Greninja tears through defenses with Water Shuriken, Lucario uses Aura Sphere with pinpoint precision, and Sceptile's Leaf Blade cuts through the chaos. Each victory is hard won, a step closer to his goal. Deep within the facility, Ash finally finds Pikachu, but it's not the playful, energetic partner he remembers. This Pikachu is gaunt, its fur matted, its eyes holding a haunted, almost feral gleam. It's stronger, yes, but also scarred. Meowth, having reached his breaking point, finally makes his move. He facilitates Pikachu's escape, a moment of profound betrayal for Team Rocket, but a desperate act of redemption for Meowth. This escape is not a clean break. It's a chaotic, destructive event that cripples a significant portion of Team Rocket's research and facilities. The reunion between Ash and Pikachu is not the tearful, joyous embrace one might expect. It's a moment of quiet understanding, of shared trauma and renewed resolve. Pikachu, though free, bears the weight of its captivity. Ash, though triumphant, carries the scars of his loss. Together, they confront Giovanni. This final battle is not a league match. It's a war for the future of Pokémon. Ash, with his full team, including his long-lost Pikachu, now a hardened veteran of Team Rocket's experiments, faces Giovanni's enhanced Pokémon, the products of Project Lightning. Pikachu, unleashing a full-power Thunderbolt, now imbued with the ferocity born of its captivity, is instrumental in dismantling Giovanni's operations. The battle is brutal, reflecting the years of pain and conflict. Giovanni is finally defeated, his organization shattered, not by a single trainer's might, but by the combined force of a trainer who refused to give up and a Pokémon that refused to be broken. The world of Pokémon in this timeline is forever changed. Team Rocket, as a global threat, is neutralized. Ash, the world champion, dedicates himself to protecting Pokémon from all forms of exploitation, becoming a true guardian. Pikachu, while never fully recovering from its ordeal, finds a new purpose, not just as Ash's partner, but as a symbol of hope and resilience for all Pokemon. Meowth, now a free agent, dedicates his life to atoning for his past, perhaps even working alongside Ash in a new capacity, using his unique perspective to help dismantle other criminal organizations. The initial capture of Pikachu, a moment of tragic success for Team Rocket, ultimately birthed a new kind of hero, a more resilient Ash, a more formidable Pikachu, and a world where the fight for Pokemon freedom became a central tenet of the Pokemon Master journey. What if Team Rocket finally caught Pikachu? It fundamentally redefines Ash's entire character arc. His journey shifts from a quest for personal glory to a crusade for justice. The constant presence of Team Rocket, no longer just bumbling comedic villains, but a genuine threat holding his best friend captive, injects a profound sense of urgency and gravity into every region. His bonds with his other Pokemon deepen out of necessity, transforming them into true partners forged in the crucible of adversity. The core theme of the anime, the power of friendship and bonds, is tested to its absolute limit. Instead of celebrating these bonds in constant companionship, Ash is forced to understand their strength in separation, their power in the memory, and their ultimate resilience in the face of immense trauma. His character develops a grit, a strategic acumen, and a profound empathy that surpasses his canonical counterpart. He becomes a more complete trainer, not just in terms of battling skill, but in his understanding of the world and his place within it. The emotional climax of rescuing Pikachu is not just a reunion, it's a redemption. It's the culmination of years of relentless pursuit, of facing down the darkness of the Pokemon world head on. Pikachu, too, undergoes a profound transformation. Its time in captivity leaves it with a raw power and an unyielding will that makes it a formidable force, but also a constant reminder of the suffering it endured. This version of Pikachu is a symbol of survival, a testament to the fact that even the brightest sparks can be dimmed but never extinguished. The ending, with Ash as the world champion and a global advocate for Pokemon, is a direct consequence of this single, pivotal event. He doesn't just win battles, he wins the war for the soul of the Pokemon world. The what if scenario, therefore, demonstrates that the greatest victories are sometimes born from the most profound losses. The fabled Mega Pikachu in this timeline is not a concept born of a battle gimmick, but a symbolic representation of Pikachu's indomitable spirit, a raw power born of its ordeal, unleashed in the final, decisive confrontation with Giovanni. And just like that, we see how one decision changed everything. If Team Rocket had succeeded in capturing Pikachu in that early Kanto journey, then Ash would have developed a more strategic and resilient team earlier. He would have matured faster as a leader. He would have won the Orange League, the Kalos League, the Alola League, and ultimately the World Coronation Series with a profound sense of purpose, and he would have personally made his entire team the strongest in the world, culminating in the complete dismantling of Team Rocket and the rise of a true guardian of all Pokemon. The initial shock of Pikachu's capture sends Ash into a spiral not dissimilar to how he reacted when Butterfree left in canon, but this time, the stakes are incomparably higher. The immediate Kanto journey takes on a darker, more determined tone. Without Pikachu, Ash is forced to rely on Charmander, Squirtle, and Bulbasaur much earlier and more intensely than in canon. This means consistent training, more focused battles, and a rapid evolution of his core team. Charmander, without the influence of being abandoned by its prior trainer, evolves into Charmeleon, and then Charizard much more smoothly, its loyalty unwavering, since Ash was its first true friend. This Charizard, unlike its canonical counterpart, respects Ash from the outset, becoming a powerhouse earlier in the Kanto journey. Squirtle and Bulbasaur also receive accelerated training, becoming integral parts of Ash's strategy. They don't just fill a void, they become the foundational pillars of a trainer driven by a singular, burning goal: retrieving Pikachu. The canonical gym battles in Kanto, like Brock's and Misty's, are still challenging, but Ash approaches them with a newfound seriousness. His Charizard, not held back by its rebellious phase, makes quick work of powerful opponents like Blaine's Magmar, using a devastating flamethrower for the win. Bulbasaur's Sleep Powder and Vine Whip become strategic tools against opponents like Erica's Grass types, often securing the win with a powerful Razor Leaf. Squirtle's Water Gun and Withdraw are honed to perfection, allowing it to take down Surge's Raichu, a stark contrast to Pikachu's loss in canon. This early Kanto team, pushed by the absence of their electric leader, develops a formidable synergy. Ash still collects his badges, but each victory feels hollow without Pikachu by his side. The emotional core of Kanto becomes the relentless pursuit of Team Rocket, who, emboldened by their success, become even more arrogant and dangerous. The Lavender Town arc, instead of being a simple ghost encounter, becomes a terrifying realization of the darker forces at play. Ash, with his now formidable Charizard, confronts the ghost-type Pokémon not with fear, but with a fierce protectiveness over his remaining team. Haunter still bonds with Ash, but its release to Sabrina carries an even greater weight, a sacrifice for the greater mission. The battle with Sabrina is still intense, but Charizard's raw power and Bulbasaur's strategic Leech Seed eventually wear down Alakazam, securing the Marsh Badge. The Pokemon League in Kanto presents a different challenge. Without Pikachu, Ash's team composition is inherently stronger and more balanced from the start. His Charizard, Squirtle, and Bulbasaur are fully evolved and highly trained, unlike the Pidgeotto and Kingler from his canonical Kanto League run. He faces Richie, but this time, Ash's Charizard, not Charizard, but his Charizard, is not disqualified. Instead, it unleashes a powerful seismic toss on Richie's Sparky, demonstrating its absolute control and loyalty. Ash progresses further, battling opponents like Jeanette Fisher with her Bellsprout and Weepinbell, which are defeated by Charizard's superior speed and power. The defining battle, however, comes against Gary. This time, Ash, fueled by his unwavering resolve, orchestrates a masterclass. His Charizard, after a grueling exchange, overwhelms Gary's Arcanine and Golem with its Flamethrower and Dragon Rage. Bulbasaur's Vine Whip proves effective against Gary's Nidoking, and Squirtle's Hydro Pump secures the win against Gary's Blastoise in a truly epic showdown. Ash, in this timeline, wins the Kanto League, not out of luck, but through sheer hard-won skill and a profound motivation. This victory, however, is bittersweet. The trophy feels empty without Pikachu to share it with. After the Kanto League, the pursuit of Team Rocket intensifies. Ash, now a league champion, has access to more resources and information. His journey into the Orange Islands is not about a new league, but a strategic move to track down whispers of Team Rocket activity. The Orange Crew battles are still challenging, but Ash's mature Charizard, Squirtle, and Bulbasaur, now veterans of a league championship, dominate. Lapras, whom Ash canonically rescues, is still rescued, but becomes an even more vital member of the team, its Ice Beam and Surf providing crucial utility in oceanic pursuits. This time, Ash triumphs over Drake, not with a patchwork team, but with a well oiled machine. Charizard, with its superior aerial combat skills, defeats Drake's Dragonite after a fierce aerial dogfight, landing a critical fire spin for the win. Ash secures the Orange League Championship, adding another trophy to his growing collection, but his gaze remains fixed on his true prize. The Johto journey, instead of being a fresh start, becomes an expansion of his anti team rocket operations. Ash's growth as a trainer attracts more powerful Pokémon. He still captures Chikorita, Cyndaquil, and Totodile, but he mentors them with a deeper understanding of tactical prowess. Bayleaf, Quilava, and Fairligator evolve under his tutelage, becoming powerful additions. This time, Ash's Charizard acts as a mentor, training the younger fire types, teaching them discipline and advanced techniques. The Johto gym leaders like Faulkner and Bugsy are still encountered, but Ash's team is now significantly stronger. Faulkner's Pidgeot is taken down by Charizard's Dragonclaw. Bugsy's Scyther is outmaneuvered by Bayleaf's Vine Whip. Morty's Gengar is still a challenge, but Ash's Feraligatr, with its Crunch, learns to deal with ghost types, securing the win. Whitney's Miltank, the canonical wall, is still tough, but a coordinated effort from Ash's team, with Bayleaf's Leech Seed and Charizard's Flamethrower, eventually brings it down. The consistent presence of a mature, loyal Charizard fundamentally alters Ash's Johto journey. He doesn't suffer the same setbacks in the Johto League. His team is consistently stronger, more experienced, and more cohesive. The rivalries with Gary and Harrison are still present, but Ash approaches them with a quiet confidence. He defeats Gary in the Silver Conference with a comprehensive strategy, his Feraligatr taking down Gary's Blastoise in a thrilling water-type showdown, and Charizard overpowering Gary's Electivire. Against Harrison, Ash's Charizard, with its newly mastered Dragon Breath, triumphs over Harrison's Blaziken, securing Ash the Johto League Championship. This marks his third league win, a truly unprecedented feat in the canon. The Hoenn region is approached with the same focused intensity. Ash still travels with May and Max, but his demeanor is more seasoned, less impulsive. He still acquires Trico, Torchic, and Mudkip, who evolve into Sceptile, Blaziken, and Swampert under his expert guidance. The canonical gym battles are still fought, but Ash's strategies are more refined. Roxanne's Nosepass is defeated by Sceptile's Bullet Seed. Brawly's Machoke is taken down by Blaziken's Blaze Kick. Watson's Manectric is outmaneuvered by Swampert's Mudshot. Norman's Slaking, the canonical powerhouse, is still formidable, but Ash's Sceptile, now a master of agility, uses Quick Attack and Leaf Blade to take it down, securing the Balance Badge. The Hoenn League is another demonstration of Ash's growing prowess. He faces Morrison, but this time Ash's Sceptile, Blaziken, and Swampert, along with his other powerful Pokémon in reserve, easily overcome Morrison's team. The final battle against Tyson still occurs, but Ash's Blaziken, now a seasoned champion, defeats Tyson's Metagross, securing Ash his fourth league title. The battle frontier, instead of being a struggle, becomes a proving ground for Ash's leadership. he conquers all 7 frontier brains with relative ease. His Charizard, now a truly legendary Pokemon in its own right, sweeps through opponents like Nolan's Articuno, using a powerful overheat for the win, a testament to its raw power and Ash's strategic genius. Brandon's Regirock, Regis, and Registeel are formidable, but Ash's full team, including his Kanto and Johto champions, work in perfect sync. Charizard defeats Regirock with a super effective Dragon Claw. Skeptile's Leaf Blade takes down Regis. And finally, Swampert's Earthquake shatters Registeel, securing Ash the Battle Frontier title and adding another monumental achievement to his resume. This time, Ash declines Scott's offer to become a Frontier Brain, stating that his mission is not yet complete. The Sinnoh region continues this trajectory of relentless growth and strategic mastery. Ash still encounters Dawn and Brock, but his focus remains on his ultimate goal. He still catches Turtwig, Chimchar, and Starly, who evolve into Torterra, Infernip, and Staraptor. The canonical rivalries with Paul and Barry are still intense, but Ash's experience and the raw power of his team give him a distinct advantage. Paul's brutal training methods are still observed, but Ash's kindness and dedication yield superior results. The gym battles, like Rourke's and Gardenia's, are still fought, but Ash's team, with its diverse type coverage and extensive battle experience, makes quick work of them. Cynthia, the Sinnoh champion, still recognizes Ash's immense potential, but in this timeline, she sees not just a promising trainer, but a seasoned warrior. The Sinnoh League, often cited as one of Ash's most challenging canonical runs, is a different story here. Ash, with his mature Charizard as his ace, alongside Infernape, Sceptile, Swampert, and his other champions, is an unstoppable force. He faces Tobias, but this time, Tobias's Darkrai is met with an equally legendary force, Ash's Charizard. Charizard, with its honed speed and power, dodges Darkrai's Dark Void and unleashes a devastating Flare Blitz, defeating the mythical Pokémon. Latios, Tobias's second legendary, is a formidable opponent, but a combined effort from Ash's Infernape and Sceptile, culminating in a powerful Blaze Kick and Leaf Blade, secures the win. Ash, in this timeline, triumphs over Tobias, becoming the Sinnoh League champion, his 5th league title. The world is beginning to recognize Ash Ketchum not just as a trainer, but as a force of nature. The Unova region, often seen as a soft reset for Ash in canon, is instead a strategic expansion. Ash still meets Iris and Salin, but he quickly establishes himself as a mentor figure. He still catches Snivy, Tepig, and Oshawott, who evolve into Superior, Embor, and Samurott. These Pokemon benefit from direct training under Ash's veteran team, learning advanced battle techniques directly from Charizard, Sceptile, and Infernape. The gym battles, like Cylons and Lenora's, are still fought, but Ash's experienced team rarely struggles. He still competes in the Unova League, but without the canonical struggles and team rotation that led to his loss to Cameron. Ash, with his full team of champions, easily navigates the Unova League, defeating rivals like Trip and Stefan. In the final, he faces Virgil and his evolutions, but Ash's superior, Emboar and Samurott, along with his other powerful Pokemon, prove too much. Ash secures his 6th league championship. The Kalos region presents the new challenge of Mega Evolution. Ash still encounters Serena, Clement, and Bonnie. He still catches Froakie, Fletchling, and Holucha, who evolve into Greninja, Talonflame, and Holucha. However, the emotional bond with Greninja that leads to Ash Greninjas is different. It is not born of desperation, but of a shared understanding of profound loss and unwavering determination. Ash Greninja, in this timeline, is a symbol of Ash's unbreakable will, a physical manifestation of his bond with a Pokemon forged in the crucible of his quest. He still battles Alan, but this time the outcome is different. Ash's Mega Charizard X, having been with him since Kanto, and Ash Greninja, a symbol of his current journey, form an unstoppable duo. The final battle against Alan's Mega Charizard X is a legendary clash. Ash's Mega Charizard X, with its years of experience and its trainer's strategic brilliance, engages in an aerial ballet of dragon claws and flamethrowers. Ash Greninja, with its water shuriken and cut, provides crucial support. In a climactic moment, Ash's Mega Charizard X, empowered by its bond with Ash, unleashes a final, devastating seismic toss, followed by a Dragon Rage, defeating Alan's Mega Charizard X and securing Ash the Kalos League Championship. This marks his 7th league win. The Alola region introduces Zen moves. Ash still attends the Pokemon school, but his role is often that of a seasoned mentor to his classmates. He still catches Rowlet, Litten, and Poplio, who evolve into Decidueye, Incineroar, and Primarina. These Pokemon learn quickly under Ash's guidance, benefiting from his vast experience. The island challenges are still undertaken, but Ash's team, with its diverse strengths, makes quick work of them. The Alola League, in this timeline, is Ash's to lose. He still faces Hau, Gladion, and Guzma, but his team, augmented by Z moves, is simply too powerful. Ash's Incineroar, using the Inferno Overdrive Z move, defeats Guzma's Golisopod. Ash's Decidueye, with its sinister Arrow Raid, overwhelms Gladion's Silvally. In the final, Ash secures his 8th league championship, a testament to his unparalleled journey. The ultimate confrontation with Team Rocket, specifically Giovanni, occurs during the World Coronation Series arc. Ash, now a multi-region champion, is a global superstar. His journey through the World Coronation Series is a testament to his decades of training and his unyielding pursuit. He faces powerful trainers like Lance, Steven, and Cynthia, but his team, encompassing his Kanto champions, his Mega Charizard X, and his Ash Greninja, is simply too strong. He defeats Leon in the finals, not just with Ash Greninja, but with a full team of his strongest champions, including his Mega Charizard X, who uses a powerful blast burn to take down Leon's Gigantamax Charizard. Ash becomes the global world champion, but this is merely a prelude. The intelligence gathered throughout his journey, combined with his champion status, finally leads him to the main Team Rocket base. This is the moment, the culmination of years of relentless effort. The battle against Giovanni is not just a battle, it's a reckoning. Giovanni, with his Mewtwo and his legendary Pokemon, presents the ultimate challenge. Ash's Mega Charizard X, Ash Greninja, Sceptile, Infernape, and his other champions engage in an epic, multi-front war against Giovanni's forces. The fabled Mega Pikachu in this timeline is not a battle gimmick, but a symbolic representation of Pikachu's indomitable spirit, a raw power born of its ordeal. When Pikachu is finally rescued, it is not weak or frail. Its time in captivity has forced it to evolve, to tap into an inner strength previously unseen. As Giovanni unleashes his final, desperate attack, Pikachu, with Ash by its side, unleashes a never-before-seen surge of electric power, a megavolt that shatters Giovanni's defenses and defeats his legendary Pokémon. This is the moment of sweet, hard-won victory. Pikachu, now reunited with Ash, is not just a partner. It is a symbol of resilience, a beacon of hope. The ending, with Ash as the world champion and a global advocate for Pokémon, is a direct consequence of this single, pivotal event. He doesn't just win battles, he wins the war for the soul of the Pokémon world. He establishes a global organization dedicated to protecting Pokémon from exploitative organizations like Team Rocket, using his influence and his vast network of champion Pokémon and trainers. The what if scenario, therefore, demonstrates that the greatest victories are sometimes born from the most profound losses. The fabled Mega Pikachu in this timeline is not a concept born of a battle gimmick, but a symbolic representation of Pikachu's indomitable spirit, a raw power born of its ordeal, unleashed in the final, decisive confrontation with Giovanni. And just like that, we see how one decision changed everything. If Team Rocket had succeeded in capturing Pikachu in that early Kanto journey, then Ash would have developed a more strategic and resilient team earlier. He would have matured faster as a leader. He would have won the Orange League, the Johto League, the Hoenn League, the Battle Frontier, the Sinnoh League, the Unova League, the Kalos League, the Alola League, and ultimately the World Coronation Series, with a profound sense of purpose, and he would have personally made his entire team the strongest in the world, culminating in the complete dismantling of Team Rocket and the rise of a true guardian of all Pokémon. The World Coronation Series, in this timeline, isn't just a competition, it's a culmination, a grand stage where Ash brings together all the lessons learned, all the bonds forged, and all the power cultivated through years of relentless pursuit. He stands not just as a trainer, but as a symbol of what dedication and unwavering belief can achieve, a testament to the idea that even the most painful setbacks can lead to the greatest triumphs. This final arc, leading to his championship, plays out with an even greater sense of gravitas than in canon, because the stakes, for Ash, are higher. He is not just fighting for a title, he is fighting to honor the journey that began with Pikachu's capture, a journey that reshaped his destiny. The final battles, leading up to the championship match, showcase the breadth and depth of Ash's team. His Mega Charizard Y, a powerhouse from the Kalos days, now wields its scorching flamethrower and Dragon Pulse with unparalleled precision, having trained extensively under Ash's guidance for years. This time, Charizard's bond with Ash is unbreakable, a pillar of strength that has only grown with every challenge. Ash Greninja, a fusion of power and strategy, cuts through opponents with Water Shuriken and Aerial Ace, its speed and agility unmatched. Sceptile, with its Leaf Blade and Bullet Seed, demonstrates a mastery of its type, its swift strikes and powerful ranged attacks dismantling even the toughest defenses. Infernape, a symbol of perseverance, unleashes its Blaze ability with devastating Flare Blitz and Mach Punch, a fiery whirlwind of pure fighting spirit. Each of these Pokémon in this timeline carries an additional weight, a silent understanding of the path they've walked, the challenges they've overcome. The World Coronation Series matches, for Ash, are not just about winning, they are about sending a message. Each victory is a reaffirmation of his philosophy, a demonstration that true power comes from the heart, from the bond between trainer and Pokémon, not from manipulation or exploitation. His opponents, including formidable trainers like Raihan, Cynthia, and Leon, push him to his absolute limits, forcing him to draw upon every ounce of his experience and the full potential of his team. Raihan's Duraludon, an imposing steel dragon type, falls to a perfectly timed Dragon Pulse from Mega Charizard EY, its G-Max move countered by Charizard's sheer power and Ash's strategic commands. Cynthia's Mighty Garchomp, a champion in its own right, engages in a brutal clash with Ash Greninja, the speed and precision of Greninja's Water Shuriken eventually overwhelming Garchomp's formidable bulk. A battle that transcends type advantages and becomes a pure test of skill and bond. And then comes the final match against Leon, the reigning monarch, a trainer whose strength, like in canon, borders on the mythical. This time, however, Ash is not just a challenger, he is a force of nature, a culmination of decades of experience and an unbreakable resolve forged in the fires of adversity. The battle plays out like canon in terms of its epic scope and the sheer power on display, but the underlying narrative for Ash is profoundly different. Every move and every counter, every decision is imbued with the memory of Pikachu's capture, the long journey back, and the promise made to protect all Pokémon. Leon's team, featuring the formidable Dragapult Rillaboom and his ace, Gigantamax Charizard, presents the ultimate test. Ash's Mega Charizard Y, facing off against Leon's Charizard, is not just a type matchup, it's a clash of legacies, a battle for supremacy between two of the most iconic Pokémon. The Mega Evolution on Ash's side, a direct consequence of his early mastery of advanced battle mechanics, gives him an edge he might not have possessed in the canon timeline. The sky above the arena becomes a canvas for their fiery confrontation, with flamethrowers and dragon pulses illuminating the night. Ash's Charizard, having faced countless challenges and trained relentlessly, demonstrates a level of control and power that even Leon acknowledges, its bond with Ash radiating an almost tangible energy. The pivotal moment, as in canon, comes down to the battle between Pikachu and Leon's Gigantamax Charizard. But this particular Pikachu, is not just Ash's first Pokémon. It is the genesis of his entire philosophy, the catalyst for his accelerated growth. When Leon unleashes his Gigantamax Charizard, a colossal inferno of power, Ash's strategy is not just about type advantage or raw strength, it's about channeling the collective spirit of his entire team, about the unwavering trust he places in his partner. The fabled Mega Pikachu in this timeline is not a concept born of a battle gimmick, but a symbolic representation of Pikachu's indomitable spirit, a raw power born of its ordeal, unleashed in the final, decisive confrontation with Giovanni. That power, that inner strength cultivated through hardship, now manifests in a different, more controlled way during the World Coronation Series final. Pikachu, drawing on the immense energy of its bond with Ash and the lessons learned from its time in captivity, performs feats of agility and electrical mastery that defy explanation. It dodges Gigantamax Charizard's G-Max Wildfire with impossible speed, its quick attack leaving after images across the arena. Its Electro Ball, supercharged by its connection to Ash, strikes with the force of a thunderbolt. And then, the moment of truth, Leon's Charizard unleashes a devastating G-Max Flare, a final desperate surge of power. But Ash and Pikachu, in perfect synchronicity, unleash a 10,000 volt thunderbolt. This is not just a move, it's a declaration, an expression of every hardship overcome, every lesson learned, every victory earned. The sheer, overwhelming electrical energy, focused and amplified by their unbreakable bond, tears through the Gigantamax aura, creating an explosion of light and power that engulfs the arena. When the smoke clears, Leon's Charizard is defeated and Pikachu stands victorious alongside Ash. The crowd erupts. Ash Ketchum, the boy who started his journey with a disobedient Pikachu, the trainer whose partner was once stolen, now stands as the world champion, the monarch. The victory is not just his, it belongs to every Pokemon he saved, every friend he made, and every challenge he overcame. It is a victory for the philosophy forged in adversity, a triumph of heart over manipulation, of bonds over brute force. The impact of this victory and the journey that led to it extends far beyond the stadium. Ash, now the undisputed world champion, uses his platform to champion Pokemon rights and protection on a global scale. He establishes the Pikachu's Promise Foundation, dedicated to rescuing Pokemon from exploitative organizations and fostering stronger bonds between trainers and their partners. His experiences with Team Rocket and the profound trauma of Pikachu's capture fuel his unwavering commitment to this cause. He becomes a global ambassador, traveling to every region, sharing his story, and inspiring countless trainers to treat their Pokemon with respect and love. The former members of Team Rocket, witnessing Ash's rise and the complete eradication of their organization, are ultimately forced to confront the futility of their ambition. Jessie, James, and Meowth, perhaps in a twist of fate, eventually find themselves drawn to the Pikachu's Promise Foundation, not as agents of evil, but as reformed individuals seeking to atone for their past. Their deep, albeit misguided affection for their own Pokemon, which was often a comedic relief in canon, finds a legitimate and positive outlet in this timeline. They eventually become valuable members of the Foundation, using their intimate knowledge of Team Rocket's operations to dismantle remaining cells and rescue endangered Pokemon, a full redemption arc born from the very event they initiated. The what if scenario, therefore, demonstrates that the greatest victories are sometimes born from the most profound losses. The fabled Mega Pikachu in this timeline is not a concept born of a battle gimmick, but a symbolic representation of Pikachu's indomitable spirit, a raw power born of its ordeal, unleashed in the final, decisive confrontation with Giovanni. Its inner strength, cultivated through hardship, manifests not just in the decisive battle against Team Rocket, but in every challenge Ash and Pikachu face, culminating in the World Coronation Series. And just like that, we see how one decision changed everything. If Team Rocket had succeeded in capturing Pikachu in that early Kanto journey, then Ash would have developed a more strategic and resilient team earlier. He would have matured faster as a leader. He would have won the Orange League, the Johto League, the Hoenn League, the Battle Frontier, the Sinnoh League, the Unova League, the Kalos League, the Alola League, and ultimately the World Coronation Series with a profound sense of purpose, and he would have personally made his entire team the strongest in the world, culminating in the complete dismantling of Team Rocket and the rise of a true guardian of all Pokemon. His journey, marked by this singular, painful event, transforms him from a simple trainer into a legend, a beacon of hope and resilience for the entire Pokemon world. This is the story of Ash Ketchum, the world champion, the guardian of Pokémon, forged in the fires of adversity, all because Team Rocket finally caught Pikachu. And in this timeline, the ripple effect of that single, seemingly devastating capture creates a world where Pokemon and humans are more connected, more protected, and more united than ever before. The impact of this singular event, Team Rocket's successful capture of Pikachu, reverberates far beyond just Ash's personal growth and Team Rocket's eventual downfall. It fundamentally reshapes the dynamics of the Pokemon world as we know it. For one, the capture of Pikachu by Team Rocket, an organization that, in canon, was often depicted as a bumbling comedic foil, becomes a stark and early warning to the various regional governments and league authorities. The brazenness of the act, the sheer audacity of snatching a starter Pokemon right from under a trainer's nose, forces a reevaluation of security protocols and the enforcement of anti poaching laws. Instead of the relatively isolated incidents of Team Rocket activity that peppered Ash's canon journey, this timeline sees a much swifter and more coordinated global response. The international police, led by figures like Looker, who in canon only appear sporadically, become a much more prominent and proactive force. Their efforts, fueled by the widespread outrage over Pikachu's capture, lead to earlier and more effective crackdowns on Team Rocket's operations across Kanto and eventually Johto. This means that many of the schemes that would have plagued Ash and his friends in canon simply never materialize. The Lake of Rage incident, for example, involving the forced evolution of Magikarp into Gyarados, plays out very differently. Without the extended period of unopposed operations, Team Rocket's resources are stretched thin, and their ability to conduct large-scale experiments is severely hampered. The red Gyarados is still created, but its rampaging is quickly contained by a more vigilant League and international police, preventing the widespread panic and environmental damage seen in canon. Lance, the Johto champion, still plays a crucial role, but he does so as part of a larger, more unified front, further solidifying his image as a protector, not just of his region, but of the entire Pokemon world. The early and aggressive dismantling of Team Rocket also has significant implications for other criminal organizations. The precedent set by Pikachu's capture and the subsequent global crackdown serves as a powerful deterrent. Organizations like Team Aqua and Team Magma, while still emerging from their respective regions, find themselves operating in a much more hostile environment. The world is on high alert. Their attempts to awaken Kyogre and Gruden, while driven by their canon motivations, are met with immediate and overwhelming opposition. The Hoenn League, supported by the international police and a unified front of gym leaders, is far better equipped to handle the threat. Instead of a drawn-out conflict with both teams simultaneously, the focused, coordinated efforts lead to a much quicker resolution. Stephen Stone, the Hoenn champion, becomes an even more renowned figure, leading the charge against these ambitious and dangerous organizations, showcasing his strategic brilliance and unwavering dedication to protecting the balance of nature. The legendary Pokémon are still roused, but their destructive potential is mitigated, and they are returned to their slumber much faster, preventing the climate-altering cataclysms that nearly engulfed Hoenn in canon. The emotional and environmental scars are far less pronounced in this timeline. Similarly, Team Galactic's grand, universe altering ambitions in Sinnoh are also put under a microscope much earlier. Cyrus's nihilistic philosophy and his attempts to create a new world through the powers of Dialga and Palkia are identified as a major threat long before they can reach their critical stages. Cynthia, the Sinnoh champion, already a formidable force in canon, rises to even greater prominence as a leader in global security. Her intelligence and battle prowess are instrumental in uncovering Team Galactic's sinister plans. The Lake Guardians, Uxie, Mesprit, and Azelf, are protected with even greater vigilance, and the resources of the Sinnoh League are fully mobilized. The confrontation at Spear Pillar still occurs, a climactic battle of cosmic proportions, but this time it is not just Ash and his friends who stand against Cyrus. It is a full-scale assault by the Sinnoh League and the International Police, a unified front that prevents Cyrus from fully realizing his twisted vision. The fabric of reality is never truly threatened. The legendary Pokémon are calmed and restored to their proper places, and the world breathes a collective sigh of relief, all thanks to the heightened vigilance born from that one pivotal event in Kanto. The ripple effect continues into Unova, N's philosophical conflict with Getsis and Team Plasma, while still deeply personal and impactful, also plays out against a backdrop of a more informed global community. The idea of liberating Pokemon, while seemingly benevolent on the surface, is recognized as a dangerous extremist ideology much sooner. Alder, the Unova champion, and the Elite Four are not caught off guard. They understand the potential for mass manipulation and the disruption caused by such a movement. Instead of Team Plasma gaining significant traction and causing widespread chaos, their influence is curtailed. N's journey is still one of self-discovery and questioning, but he finds allies and guidance from the League and the International Police much earlier, allowing him to understand the true nature of his father's manipulation. The awakening of Zekrom and Reshiram still occurs, as it is a fundamental part of Unova's lore. But the conflict is resolved without the massive collateral damage and the extensive period of Team Plasma's destructive reign seen in canon. Getsis is apprehended much sooner, his plans for world domination thwarted before they can truly destabilize the region. Even in Kalos, the shadow of Team Flare and Lysandra's ultimate weapon is anticipated. The concept of an organization seeking to reset the world is not new to law enforcement at this point. Diantha, the Kalos champion, and Professor Sycamore are already well aware of Lysandra's increasing fanaticism and his vast resources. The Mega Evolution research, while still a central point, is conducted with a greater degree of transparency and oversight, preventing Lysandra from weaponizing it as effectively. The final confrontation in Lumiose City is still devastating, but the ultimate weapon is disabled before it can fully fire, saving countless lives and Pokémon. The Bond phenomenon, Ash's Greninja, emerges as a symbol of hope and the power of human-Pokémon connection, not just a desperate measure against an overwhelming threat. The world, scarred by the earlier threats, is quicker to identify and neutralize existential dangers, a direct consequence of the early alarm bells rung by Pikachu's capture. And finally, in Alola, the threat of Ultra Beasts and the machinations of the Ether Foundation under Lusamine are also handled with greater foresight. The existence of alternate dimensions and the potential for interdimensional travel is already a topic of serious scientific and governmental interest, not a sudden, shocking revelation. The Ultra Recon Squad, who in canon arrive as somewhat mysterious figures, are treated with more immediate trust and collaboration. The Alalacahunas and Professor Kukui are part of a larger network of global experts dedicated to understanding and mitigating interdimensional threats. Lucamine's obsession with Nihilego and her attempts to force Ultra Beast interactions are recognized as dangerous mental states much earlier. Lily and Gladian, her children, find support and understanding from the League and the international police, enabling them to help their mother without the same level of personal trauma and the extensive period of emotional estrangement seen in canon. The legendary Pokemon Solgaleo and Lunala are still central to the Ultra Beast crisis, but their power is harnessed and controlled with a greater degree of care and understanding, preventing the widespread chaos and the potential for a full-scale Ultra Beast invasion. The world has learned to be proactive, not just reactive, to threats of all kinds. This timeline, born from the simple act of Team Rocket finally succeeding in their long-standing goal, paints a picture of a Pokemon world that is simultaneously more dangerous due to the initial success of evil, but ultimately far more resilient, unified, and protected. The constant threat forces innovation, collaboration, and a deeper appreciation for the bonds between humans and Pokemon. It accelerates scientific discovery, improves global security, and fosters a sense of collective responsibility that transcends regional borders. The narrative of Ash Ketchum, the world champion, becomes interwoven with the narrative of a world that faced its fears head on, learned from its mistakes, and emerged stronger. The Pikachu's Promise Foundation flourishes, a testament to the idea that even the most misguided individuals can find redemption and contribute to a better world. The legacy of Pikachu's capture is not one of loss, but of profound transformation, demonstrating that sometimes the greatest catalysts for change are the very challenges we wish to avoid. The fabled Mega Pikachu in this timeline is not a concept born of a battle gimmick, but a symbolic representation of Pikachu's indomitable spirit, a raw power born of its ordeal, unleashed in the final, decisive confrontation with Giovanni. Its inner strength, cultivated through hardship, manifests not just in the decisive battle against Team Rocket, but in every challenge Ash and Pikachu face, culminating in the World Coronation series. And just like that, we see how one decision changed everything. If Team Rocket had succeeded in capturing Pikachu in that early Kanto journey, then Ash would have developed a more strategic and resilient team earlier. He would have matured faster as a leader. He would have won the Orange League, the Johto League, the Hoenn League, the Battle Frontier, the Sinnoh League, the Unova League, the Kalos League, the Alola League, and ultimately the World Coronation Series, with a profound sense of purpose, and he would have personally made his entire team the strongest in the world, culminating in the complete dismantling of Team Rocket and the rise of a true guardian of all Pokémon. His journey, marked by this singular, painful event, transforms him from a simple trainer into a legend, a beacon of hope and resilience for the entire Pokémon world. This is the story of Ash Ketchum, the world champion, the guardian of Pokémon, forged in the fires of adversity, all because Team Rocket finally caught Pikachu. And in this timeline, the ripple effect of that single, seemingly devastating capture creates a world where Pokemon and humans are more connected, more protected, and more united than ever before, moving towards a future of unprecedented peace and cooperation where the threat of criminal organizations is largely a thing of the past, and the focus shifts to exploration, research, and the deepening of the bonds that make the Pokemon world so vibrant and alive. The narrative arc completes with Ash, now a seasoned champion and a global ambassador, standing as a living testament to the power of resilience and the unexpected blessings that can emerge from the most challenging of circumstances. It is a future where the shadow of Team Rocket, once a pervasive threat, has diminished into a cautionary tale, its remnants scattered and powerless against the united front, inspired by Ash's unwavering resolve. This outcome, a direct consequence of Pikachu's capture, highlights a profound truth. Sometimes, the most significant victories are born from the deepest losses. The narrative of Ash, the boy who lost his best friend, becomes the legend of Ash, the man who saved the world, not through brute force, but through the profound empathy and strategic brilliance honed in the crucible of that early Kanto trauma. The impact extends beyond Ash and Team Rocket. The various regional Pokemon leagues, initially seen as individual challenges, evolve into a more interconnected system, fostering greater collaboration among trainers and researchers. The Kanto League, for instance, instead of being a standalone event, becomes a proving ground for trainers aiming for international recognition, its prestige amplified by the new stakes. The Orange League, rather than being a mere detour, gains importance as a regional championship that tests a trainer's adaptability and resourcefulness in unique environmental conditions, skills that prove crucial in a world grappling with the aftershocks of Team Rocket's reign. Ash's victory here, unlike Canon, is not just a personal triumph, but a statement of his growing mastery, a prelude to greater challenges. In Johto, the challenges take on a new dimension. With Team Rocket's core structure dismantled, the focus shifts to remaining cells and their attempts to re-establish themselves. Ash, instead of just competing in the Johto League, finds himself actively participating in operations to track down and neutralize these remnants, often working alongside the region's police force and even the Elite Four. His experience with the restructured Team Rocket gives him invaluable insight, allowing him to anticipate their moves and dismantle their schemes with efficiency. The Johto League then becomes a demonstration of his leadership and strategic thinking, where his team, now comprising Pikachu's successors and a diverse group of Pokemon he's trained with exceptional care, sweeps through the competition. The rivalry with Harrison, like we know it, still exists, but this time Ash's Skeptile, having benefited from the rigorous training regimen Ash developed post-Pikachu, secures the win against Harrison's Blaziken, showcasing a level of power and precision that was absent in the canon match. Ash takes the win, moving ever closer to his ultimate goal. The Hoenn region further develops Ash's role as a global protector. Without the constant threat of Team Rocket, the region's focus shifts to environmental conservation and understanding the ancient legends of Gruden and Kyogre. Ash, now a celebrated champion, is called upon not just for his battling prowess, but for his diplomatic skills. He mediates conflicts between researchers, helps protect endangered Pokémon, and even plays a pivotal role in averting ecological disasters that in canon were more localized. His Hoenn team, including a fully evolved Skeptile, Swellow, and Corphish, are not just battling machines, but partners in conservation efforts. Their unique abilities utilized for scientific exploration and protection. The Hoenn League, like Canon, sees Ash facing off against formidable opponents, but his enhanced strategic insight and the sheer power of his team allow him to navigate battles with greater ease. Rather than falling short against Tyson and his Meowth, Ash's Swellow, now a seasoned aerial combatant, outmaneuvers and defeats Tyson's ace, securing Ash another championship title. This consistent success reinforces his belief in vigilant, meticulous training, a direct consequence of the loss of Pikachu. The battle frontier in this timeline is approached with a renewed vigor. Ash, no longer burdened by the naivety of his canon self, sees the frontier as an opportunity to further hone his skills and test the limits of his Pokémon. Each frontier brain, from Noland to Brandon, presents a unique challenge, and Ash meets them head on with a tailored strategy. His Charizard, now fully integrated into his main team and having matured significantly, becomes a central figure in these battles, often securing critical wins. The Battle Pyramid Challenge against Brandon, a defining moment in canon, is restaged. This time, Ash's Regis, Regirock, and Registeel are not just defeated, but outmaneuvered by his highly trained Pokémon, culminating in a decisive victory for Ash's Charizard against Brandon's Regirock, a powerful display of type advantage and raw strength. Ash becomes a frontier brain himself, but unlike Canon, he chooses to continue his journey, understanding that his mission extends beyond any single title. Sinnoh presents a unique challenge, as it is the first region where the lingering shadow of the reorganized Team Rocket truly manifests. Cyrus, the leader of Team Galactic, is revealed to have exploited the chaos left by the original Team Rocket's collapse, rising to power by promising order and control. Ash, now a seasoned veteran, recognizes the familiar patterns of manipulation and exploitation. He works closely with Cynthia and the Sinnoh police to expose Team Galactic's true motives, using his connections and influence to rally support against Cyrus. The Sinnoh League, while still a major goal, is intertwined with this larger mission. Ash's team, including Infernape, Staraptor, Torterra, and Gliscor, is not just powerful but deeply synchronized, a testament to his meticulous training methods. His rivalry with Paul, like we know it, is still intense, but this time, Ash's Infernape, having reached its full potential under Ash's careful guidance, not only defeats Paul's Electivire, but does so with a display of raw power and controlled rage that leaves no doubt about its supremacy. Ash wins the Sinnoh League, his victory a symbol of hope against the encroaching darkness of Team Galactic. The defeat of Team Galactic, this time, is more thorough and permanent, a direct result of Ash's early intervention and the consolidated efforts of regional authorities. Unova, often considered a weaker point in Ash's canon journey, becomes a period of significant growth and consolidation in this timeline. Without the distraction of being a new trainer with a new Pikachu, Ash enters Unova with a clear vision. He mentors new trainers, including Iris and Celan, sharing his vast experience and helping them grow. His Unova team, while still diverse, benefits from his refined training techniques. He actively seeks out and captures powerful Pokémon, recognizing their potential rather than relying solely on chance encounters. His crocodile becomes an absolute powerhouse, and his Pignite and Oshawott evolve to their final forms with greater haste, becoming formidable forces. The Unova League, instead of being a frustrating loss, is a confident sweep. Ash defeats Cameron, his Unpheasant soaring above Cameron's Hydreigon, and then faces Trip in the finals, where his fully evolved Superior, a Pokemon he works tirelessly to train from his Snivy stage, delivers a crushing Leaf Storm to Trip's Conkeldurr, securing another league title. The experience in Unova solidifies Ash's reputation as an undisputed champion, preparing him for the challenges to come. Kalos, however, is where the stakes truly escalate. The threat of Team Flare, led by Lysandra, mirrors the ambitions of the original Team Rocket in its scope and destructive potential. Ash, now an international champion, is immediately recognized as a crucial player in the fight against Team Flare. The bond phenomenon with Greninja, a defining moment in canon, intensifies in this timeline. Ash's understanding of trust and connection forged in the fires of Pikachu's capture allows him to achieve a level of synchronization with Greninja that is unparalleled. Ash Greninja, therefore, is not just a powerful form, but a symbol of his unbreakable bond with his Pokemon, a bond that Lysandra, with his cold, calculating nature, cannot comprehend. The Kalos League, like canon, sees Ash facing off against Alain and his Mega Charizard X. But this time, the outcome is different. Ash Greninja, having already battled and defeated numerous Mega Pokemon, is not caught off guard. The bond between Ash and Greninja is so profound that Greninja pushes beyond its limits, its water shuriken imbued with an unprecedented power. In a climactic clash of titans, Ash Greninja's water shuriken overwhelms Alan's Mega Charizard X's Blast Burn, securing the iconic win for Ash. This is a moment of profound redemption, not just for Ash, but for every trainer who has ever fallen short. Following the league, Ash and Greninja play a decisive role in thwarting Team Flare, their combined power and unwavering spirit proving to be the ultimate counter to Lysandra's destructive ambitions. Alola presents a refreshing shift in tone after the intensity of Kalos. Here, Ash embraces the role of a mentor more fully, guiding his classmates at the Pokemon School. His presence as an international champion commands respect, and he uses his influence to foster a deeper understanding between humans and Pokemon. The trials, instead of being challenges he barely scrapes through, become opportunities for him to demonstrate advanced strategies and inspire the local trainers. His Alolan team, including Lycanroc, Dusk form, Incineroar, and Rowlet, are trained with the same meticulous care as his previous teams, becoming strong contenders in their own right. The Alola League, the first official league for the region, is another showcase of Ash's unparalleled skill. He defeats Guzma, his Incineroar overpowering Guzma's Golisopod, and then faces Kukui in the exhibition match. Kukui's team, a formidable challenge in canon, is met with Ash's complete roster of champions. The final battle, a true grand finale, sees Ash's newly evolved Naganadel, a testament to his global travels and unique experiences, taking on Kukui's Tapu Koko. Naganadel's devastating sludge wave, combined with its incredible speed, ultimately secures the win, making Ash the first ever Alola League champion. Finally, the World Coronation Series. This is the ultimate stage, the culmination of Ash's entire journey. His path to the Masters 8 is a triumphant march, each victory a testament to the lessons learned and the strength gained since that fateful day in Kanto. He faces elite trainers from across the globe, each battle a strategic masterpiece. His team, a revolving door of his strongest Pokémon from every region, is a force to be reckoned with. Charizard, Sceptile, Infernape, Greninja, and Lycanroc, Dusk form, are just a few of the powerhouses he unleashes. His final opponent is Leon, the undisputed Galar champion. The battle is legendary, a clash of titans where every move is calculated, every Pokemon pushed to its absolute limit. In the final moments, with both trainers down to their last Pokemon, Ash sends out his ace, his true partner, the one who started it all, not Pikachu, but a Pokemon he has meticulously trained and brought back to its full glory, his Charizard. It is a poetic full circle. Leon counters with his ace, Cinderace. The battle is a spectacle of Gigantamax power, strategic switching, and raw skill. Charizard, having learned from every defeat and every victory, having been Ash's constant companion through thick and thin Gigantamaxes. Its G-Max Wildfire engulfs the arena, pushing Cinderace to its absolute limit. In a final, desperate move, Cinderace unleashes its signature Pyro Ball, but Charizard, fueled by the unbreakable bond with Ash, counters with a G-Max Dragon Breath, an attack so potent it not only overcomes Pyro Ball, but completely overwhelms Cinderace, securing the win. Ash Ketchum is the world champion, not just of a single region, but of the entire Pokemon world. The theme of this journey is an undeniable testament to resilience, the profound power of overcoming adversity, and the transformative nature of loss. Ash's early trauma, the capture of Pikachu, forces him to grow, to adapt, and to ultimately become a trainer of unparalleled skill and empathy. The early loss of Pikachu, while devastating, becomes the very catalyst for his eventual, undeniable triumph. He learns that true strength is not just about winning every battle, but about rising stronger from every setback, about protecting what you cherish, and about inspiring others to do the same. And just like that, we see how one decision changed everything. If Team Rocket had succeeded in capturing Pikachu in that early Kanto journey, then Ash would have developed a more strategic and resilient team earlier. He would have matured faster as a leader. He would have won the Orange League, the Johto League, the Hoenn League, the Battle Frontier, the Sinnoh League, the Unova League, the Kalos League, the Alola League, and ultimately the World Coronation Series, with a profound sense of purpose, and he would have personally made his entire team the strongest in the world, culminating in the complete dismantling of Team Rocket and the rise of a true guardian of all Pokémon. His journey, marked by this singular, painful event, transforms him from a simple trainer into a legend, a beacon of hope and resilience for the entire Pokémon world. This is the story of Ash Ketchum, the world champion, the guardian of Pokémon, forged in the fires of adversity, all because Team Rocket finally caught Pikachu. And in this timeline, the ripple effect of that single, seemingly devastating capture creates a world where Pokémon and humans are more connected, more protected, and more united than ever before, moving towards a future of unprecedented peace and cooperation, where the threat of criminal organizations is largely a thing of the past, and the focus shifts to exploration, research, and the deepening of the bonds that make the Pokémon world so vibrant and alive. The narrative arc completes with Ash, now a seasoned champion and a global ambassador, standing as a living testament to the power of resilience and the unexpected blessings that can emerge from the most challenging of circumstances. The fabled Mega Pikachu in this timeline is not a concept born of a battle gimmick, but a symbolic representation of Pikachu's indomitable spirit, a raw power born of its ordeal, unleashed in the final, decisive confrontation with Giovanni. Its inner strength, cultivated through hardship, manifests not just in the decisive battle against Team Rocket, but in every challenge Ash and Pikachu face, culminating in the World Coronation Series, inspiring a new generation of trainers to forge unbreakable bonds with their Pokémon, knowing that even in the face of loss, hope and strength can always be found. This enduring legacy, a testament to the unexpected paths life can take, ensures that the Pokemon world thrives, perpetually pushing the boundaries of what is possible, all because of one pivotal moment that reshaped destiny. This profound shift in Ash's journey, initiated by the loss of Pikachu, continues to echo through the later regions. When Ash arrives in the Alola region, this time his approach to the island challenge is markedly different. He doesn't treat it as a casual vacation, but rather as a rigorous training regimen. The pain of Pikachu's absence fuels his determination. Instead of the initial carefree attitude, Ash is focused, methodical, and keenly observes the unique dynamics of Alolan Pokemon and their trainers. His reliance on strategy, developed in his earlier Pikachu-less battles, serves him exceptionally well. He doesn't struggle with the first few trials like in canon, but rather approaches them with an almost clinical efficiency. His team in Alola, while still forming strong bonds, benefits from his matured leadership. Rowlet, this time, is not a sleepy, easily distracted Pokemon. Ash, understanding the importance of focus and discipline, trains Rowlet to be a surprisingly agile and precise fighter from the outset. This Rowlet, instead of napping through battles, is a rapid-fire attacker, utilizing its leafage and peck with a newfound ferocity. Litten, evolving into Torracat and then Incineroar, becomes a formidable fire-dark type, its fiery spirit channeled by Ash's strategic commands into devastating Z-moves. Lycanroc, Dusk form, still joins his team, but this time its temper is more controlled, its rock-type attacks delivered with a calculated precision that makes it a true powerhouse. The other trainers in Alola also feel the ripple effect. How? Seeing Ash's intense dedication and battle prowess ups his own game significantly earlier than in canon. Their rivalry, instead of being friendly and casual, becomes a more intense yet still respectful competition. Gladion, initially dismissive of Ash's perceived recklessness, quickly recognizes the underlying strategic genius and the deep, albeit different, bond Ash shares with his Pokémon. This time, Gladion sees Ash not as an equal to be overcome, but as a benchmark to strive for, even learning a few things about improvisation from Ash's quick thinking. The island trials are completed with fewer setbacks. Ash's team, having been refined through his rigorous training methods, faces the totem Pokemon with superior coordination and power. He defeats the totem Gumshoos, or Alolan Raticate depending on the game path, with a surprisingly effective combination of Rowlet's Leafage and Lycanroc's Rock Throw. The totem Lurantis, a formidable foe in canon, falls to Incineroar's focused Flamethrower, demonstrating a mastery of fire-type Zaid moves that eclipses his canonical performance. Each grand trial is a testament to Ash's strategic evolution, with Hala, Olivia, Nanu, and Hapu all acknowledging his exceptional skill and the unbreakable bonds he forms with his Pokémon. The Ether Foundation arc unfolds differently. Ash, having dealt with Team Rocket's machinations for years, is immediately suspicious of Lucimin's erratic behavior and the Ultra Beasts. Without the emotional anchor of Pikachu, his logical reasoning takes precedence. He deduces the true nature of the Ultra Wormholes and the threat of Nihilego much faster. His team, far from being overwhelmed, is prepared for the Ultra Beast encounters. Incineroar's Darkest Lariat, combined with Lycanroc's Stone Edge, provides critical crowd control against the Nihilego. The battle against a Nihilego-possessed Lucamine is more challenging, but Ash's tactical brilliance shines through. He commands his Pokémon to target Nihilego directly, isolating it from Lucamine, and eventually, with a powerful Inferno Overdrive from Incineroar, they manage to separate Lucamine from the Ultra Beast, leading to a swifter resolution of the crisis. He does not need the assistance of the Tapu Pokémon as much as in canon, standing on his own 2 feet. The Alola League in this timeline is Ash's to lose. His path to the finals is a dominant display of skill. He defeats Guzma in a thrilling battle, his Incineroar proving too much for Guzma's Golisopod, with a well-timed Flare Blitz sealing the victory. The final match against Gladion is an epic showdown, pushing both trainers to their limits. Gladion's Silvally and Lycanroc are powerful, but Ash's team, honed by years of adversity and strategic thinking, proves superior. His Lycanroc, Dusk form, secures the win against Gladion's Zoroark with an electrifying Accelerock, making Ash the first ever Alola League champion. This victory is not simply a personal triumph, but a testament to his resilience, a hard-won championship that solidifies his reputation as a true master. Since Gladion wins the league in canon, Ash defeating him here means Ash wins the Alola League in this timeline, a moment of profound vindication for all his past losses. The World Coronation Series arc is where all of Ash's accumulated experience, strategy, and power truly coalesce. His journey to the top of the Masters 8 is a narrative of unwavering determination and consistent growth. With the knowledge that Pikachu, in this timeline, is a symbol of loss and motivation rather than his constant companion, Ash approaches every battle with a calculated intensity. He forms a truly diverse and powerful team, drawing from his strongest Pokémon across regions. Dragonite, Lucario, Gengar, Sirfetch'd, Dracovish, and even a fully evolved Sceptile from Hoenn, a Greninja from Kalos, and an Infernape from Sinnoh, all of whom he trained with an even higher degree of precision and focus due to his early experiences, become his formidable arsenal. He rotates his team strategically, adapting to each opponent's strengths and weaknesses like a seasoned general. In this timeline, Ash's battles against the gym leaders and Elite Four members in the World Coronation Series are not just about winning, but about demonstrating the pinnacle of Pokémon training. He defeats Raihan, the Dragon-type specialist, with a masterful display of type matchups and strategic switches, his Drakovish's Vicious Rend, and Sirfetch'd's Meteor Assault, tearing through Raihan's Duraludon. His battle against Iris, the former Unova champion, is a Dragon-type spectacle where his Dragonite, after a fierce aerial duel, overcomes Iris's Haxorus with a powerful Dragon Claw. The Masters 8 tournament, the ultimate challenge, is where Ash's leadership is truly tested. His emotional core, though lacking Pikachu's direct presence, is stronger than ever, fueled by the memory of his lost partner and the desire to honor that loss by becoming the very best. He faces Steven Stone, the Hoenn champion, in a high stakes battle. Steven's Mega Metagross is a formidable foe, but Ash, leveraging his deep understanding of steel type weaknesses, uses his Infernape's Flare Blitz and Lucario's Aura Sphere to break through its defenses, securing a hard fought victory. His semi final match against Cynthia, the champion of Sinnoh and widely considered one of the strongest trainers in the world, is an absolute masterpiece of strategic Pokemon battling. Cynthia's Garchomp and Spiritomb are as intimidating as ever, but Ash, through patient maneuvering and precise commands, manages to turn the tide. His Greninja, still demonstrating the bond phenomenon, utilizes Water Shuriken to chip away at Garchomp, while his Lucario, with a perfectly timed counterattack, defeats Spiritomb. The final blow against Garchomp comes from Greninja's powerful cut after a flurry of Water Shuriken attacks, securing Ash a spot in the finals. This is a battle that in canon was a near impossible dream for Ash, but in this timeline, his enhanced strategic acumen makes it a reality. The final battle against Leon, the undefeated Galar champion, is the culmination of everything Ash has learned and endured. Leon's Charizard, with its Gigantamax form, is an absolute beast. But Ash, knowing the stakes, unleashes his full power. He strategically uses his team's diverse movesets and abilities. His Dragonite confronts Leon's Rillaboom with a powerful Dragon Rush that creates an opening. Gengar's Ghost-type attacks prove crucial against Leon's Dragapult. And then, for the first time, he reveals his own ace, his Sceptile, now having mastered Mega Evolution, thanks to Ash's focused training throughout his journey. Mega Sceptile, with its incredible speed and Leaf Blade, becomes the ultimate counter to Leon's Charizard. The battle is a back-and-forth spectacle, with both trainers pushing their Pokémon to their absolute limits. The climax arrives as Leon's Gigantamax Charizard unleashes a devastating G-Max Wildfire. Ash, undeterred, commands Mega Sceptile to use a powerful Leaf Storm, which combined with a precise Dragon Pulse from Dragonite, creates a whirlwind that disperses the Gigantamax flames. Then, in a moment of pure strategic brilliance, Ash has Mega Sceptile use a powerful Frenzy Plant, its roots lashing out and binding Gigantamax Charizard. With Charizard momentarily restrained, Ash calls upon his Lucario, who now fully resonating with Ash's aura, unleashes a maximum power Aura Sphere, directly impacting Gigantamax Charizard's core. The Gigantamax energy dissipates, and Leon's Charizard collapses defeated. Ash Ketchum, the young boy who lost his first Pokémon, has become the world champion, a testament to his unbreakable spirit and strategic genius. He doesn't need Pikachu to win. He wins because of the lessons learned from Pikachu's absence. And just like that, we see how one decision changed everything. If Team Rocket had succeeded in capturing Pikachu in that early Kanto journey, then he would have developed a more strategic and resilient team earlier. He would have matured faster as a leader. He would have won the Orange League, the Johto League, the Hoenn League, the Battle Frontier, the Sinnoh League, the Unova League, the Kalos League, the Alola League, and ultimately the World Coronation Series with a profound sense of purpose, and he would have personally made his entire team the strongest in the world. This is the story of Ash Ketchum, the world champion, the guardian of Pokémon, forged in the fires of adversity, all because Team Rocket finally caught Pikachu. And in this timeline, the ripple effect of that single, seemingly devastating capture creates a world where Pokemon and humans are more connected, more protected, and more united than ever before, moving towards a future of unprecedented peace and cooperation where the threat of criminal organizations is largely a thing of the past and the focus shifts to exploration, research, and the deepening of the bonds that make the Pokemon world so vibrant and alive. The narrative arc completes with Ash, now a seasoned champion and a global ambassador, standing as a living testament to the power of resilience and the unexpected blessings that can emerge from the most challenging of circumstances. The fabled Mega Pikachu in this timeline is not a concept born of a battle gimmick, but a symbolic representation of Pikachu's indomitable spirit, a raw power born of its ordeal, unleashed in the final, decisive confrontation with Giovanni. Its inner strength, cultivated through hardship, manifests not just in the decisive battle against Team Rocket, but in every challenge Ash and Pikachu face, culminating in the World Coronation series, inspiring a new generation of trainers to forge unbreakable bonds with their Pokemon, knowing that even in the face of loss, hope and strength can always be found. This enduring legacy, a testament to the unexpected paths life can take, ensures that the Pokemon world thrives, perpetually pushing the boundaries of what is possible, all because of one pivotal moment that reshaped destiny. This Ash, now a true master, carries the spirit of his lost friend in every victory, a silent promise kept, a destiny fulfilled. The narrative pivots once more, moving into the era of the World Coronation series, a time of unprecedented global competition. With his seasoned team, Ash enters the series not as a wide-eyed challenger, but as a formidable contender, already a multi-league champion. The absence of Pikachu, while still a quiet ache, has long since transformed into a driving force. His strategy is honed, his team's cohesion unparalleled. He understands the nuances of each Pokemon's abilities, pushing them to their absolute peak. His journey through the initial ranks of the World Coronation series plays out with a similar trajectory to Canon, but with a palpable boost in efficiency. He dispatches opponents like Viscez with her Raichu, and even the formidable Karina and her Mega Lucario with a newfound tactical brilliance. Invernip, his original Sinnoh ace, often leads the charge, its Blaze ability now a controlled weapon, not a last resort. Sceptile's speed and Leaf Blade are devastating, and Crocodile's moxie-fueled rampage is a sight to behold. Each victory is decisive, every battle a masterclass in type matchups and strategic positioning. When Ash faces B, a rival whose strength is initially a challenge in canon, the outcome is different. This Ash, having navigated far more complex and high-stakes encounters without his electric companion, approaches the battle with an unshakable calm. Her Graplocked and Howlucha are met with calculated counters. Lucario, having benefited from direct mentorship from Ash's enduring spirit, rather than the occasional training session with Pikachu, has unlocked its aura powers to an even greater degree. It uses Aura Sphere with pinpoint precision, and its close combat is delivered with an intensity that matches B's own martial arts prowess. This time, Ash secures the win against B in their first encounter, eliminating the need for a rematch. This early dominance propels him quickly into the Ultra class. The Ultra class battles are where his team truly shines. Against Iris, the Dragon-type champion, Ash deploys his own dragon-type powerhouse, Dragonite, and his potent fire types. Dragonite, having been with Ash longer and trained more rigorously in this timeline, possesses a deeper understanding of its trainer's intent. Its Dragon Pulse and Hurricane are executed with flawless timing, challenging Haxorus's might. Infernape's Flare Blitz proves instrumental against Dragonite, and Sceptile's Leaf Storm, typically a move that lowers special attack, is used strategically for area denial, allowing Dragonite to secure critical hits. Ash defeats Iris, further solidifying his position as a rising star. His battle against Raihan, the Galar gym leader known for his weather strategies, is a testament to his adaptability. Without Pikachu, Ash has learned to rely on a broader spectrum of tactics. He doesn't just overpower, he outmaneuvers. Against Raihan's Gigantamax Duraludon, Ash deploys his own Gigantamax Cinderace, a Pokémon he would have caught and trained with the same dedication, pushing it beyond its canonical limits. Cinderace's G-Max Fireball erupts through Duraludon's defenses, and its Blaze Kick, infused with Ash's fighting spirit, secures a hard-fought victory. This time, the weather game belongs to Ash, showcasing his mastery over diverse battle conditions. As Ash ascends into the Master's 8, the stakes become astronomical. The emotional core of this arc, the final confrontation with Team Rocket, has already occurred, freeing Ash to focus entirely on the pinnacle of competitive battling. The burden of that past is transformed into an unyielding resolve. His first Masters 8 opponent is Steven Stone, the champion of Hoenn. This is a clash of titans, a battle of strategic brilliance. Steven's Mega Metagross is a formidable opponent. Its Psychic and Steel moves a dangerous combination. Ash, however, has perfected his team's synergy. Lucario, now master of Aura, leads the charge, using its Mega Evolution to match Metagross's raw power. The ensuing battle is a whirlwind of close combat, Aura Sphere, Meteor Mash, and Zen Headbutt. Ash carefully manages Lucario's stamina, switching it out for Dragonite to absorb a powerful hit, then bringing it back to unleash a final, decisive Aura Storm, securing a hard-earned win. This is a battle that, in canon, Ash didn't experience until much later in the series, but here it's a test of his already established championship medal. Next, Ash faces Cynthia, the formidable Sinnoh champion. This is the ultimate challenge for any trainer. Cynthia's Garchomp, Spiritomb, and Roserade are a balanced, powerful team. Ash responds with a diverse lineup of his own. Sceptile takes on Roserade, its Leaf Blade cutting through the grass and poison type's defenses. Infernape, with its Blaze ability now fully under Ash's control, engages Spiritomb. The real challenge comes with Garchomp. Ash deploys his own Dragonite, a seasoned veteran, to meet Cynthia's ace head-on. The Dragon Rush versus Dragonclaw exchange is fierce, but it's Lucario again, with its Mega Evolution and perfected Aura techniques, that ultimately brings down Garchomp, using a calculated close combat after baiting Garchomp into a vulnerable position. The win against Cynthia is not just a triumph of skill, but a testament to the profound bond Ash has forged with each member of his team, a bond that deepened in the absence of his first partner. The final opponent in the World Coronation series is none other than Leon, the seemingly invincible champion of Galar. This is the battle Ash has been building towards his entire life. The pressure is immense, but Ash is calm, resolute. He knows his team, and they know him. The battle begins with Cinderace, Ash's Galar ace, against Leon's Rillaboom. The clash of fire and grass is intense, with Cinderace's Blaze Kick pushing Rillaboom to its limits. Cinderace, empowered by Ash's unwavering belief, eventually lands a critical Pyro Ball, taking out Rillaboom. Next, Leon sends out his Dragapult. Ash counters with his Dragonite. The aerial battle is a spectacle, with Dragon Pulse meeting Dragon Darts. Dragonite, through sheer endurance and Ash's strategic switching, manages to wear down Dragapult. Then comes the legendary Charizard, Leon's ace. This is where the emotional weight of Ash's journey truly manifests. Charizard, the very Pokémon he would have hoped Pikachu would one day stand alongside, the symbol of unyielding power. Ash chooses Lucario, his Aura Guardian, for this monumental confrontation. Leon's Charizard Mega evolves into Mega Charizard X, its power radiating across the stadium. Ash's Lucario Mega evolves in response, its aura flaring. The battle is a brutal exchange of Dragon Claws, Aura Spheres, Blast Burns, and close combats. Every move is precise, every counter immediate. Ash, having faced countless powerful opponents, uses his experience to predict Leon's moves. He commands Lucario to dodge a Dragon Tail, then counter with a powerful Bone Rush, followed by an Aura Sphere directly to Charizard's chest. Leon, seeing his ace falter, unleashes a devastating Gigantamax Charizard. The stadium trembles. Ash, without a Gigantamax Pokémon available, relies on the sheer power and unbreakable bond with Lucario. He pushes Lucario to its absolute limit, drawing on every ounce of aura it possesses. Lucario, channeling Ash's unwavering determination, unleashes a final, desperate Aura Storm. The raw energy collides with Gigantamax Charizard's G-Max Wildfire. The stadium is engulfed in light and smoke. When the dust settles, Leon's Gigantamax Charizard reverts to its normal form, unconscious. Ash's Lucario stands, battered but victorious. Ash Ketchum, without his beloved Pikachu, has won the World Coronation Series. He is the world champion. The stadium erupts. The theme that threads through this entire narrative, from the moment Team Rocket succeeded in their capture, is one of growth through adversity. The absence of Pikachu, initially a profound loss, forced Ash to mature faster, to diversify his strategies, to deepen his bonds with every other Pokémon on his team. He learned that leadership isn't about relying on one star, but about empowering an entire constellation. The emotional sub-arc of Ash, proving his worth not just to himself, but to the memory of his first partner, culminates in this victory. He has become a champion, not despite the loss, but in many ways because of it. And just like that, we see how one decision changed everything. If Team Rocket had succeeded in capturing Pikachu in that early Kanto journey, then he would have developed a more strategic and resilient team earlier. He would have matured faster as a leader. He would have won the Orange League, the Johto League, the Hoenn League, the Battle Frontier, the Sinnoh League, the Unova League, the Kalos League, the Alola League, and ultimately the World Coronation Series, with a profound sense of purpose, and he would have personally made his entire team the strongest in the world. This is the story of Ash Ketchum, the world champion, the guardian of Pokémon, forged in the fires of adversity, all because Team Rocket finally caught Pikachu. And in this timeline, the ripple effect of that single, seemingly devastating capture creates a world where Pokémon and humans are more connected, more protected, and more united than ever before, moving towards a future of unprecedented peace and cooperation where the threat of criminal organizations is largely a thing of the past, and the focus shifts to exploration, research, and the deepening of the bonds that make the Pokemon world so vibrant and alive. The narrative arc completes with Ash, now a seasoned champion and a global ambassador, standing as a living testament to the power of resilience and the unexpected blessings that can emerge from the most challenging of circumstances. The fabled Mega Pikachu in this timeline is not a concept born of a battle gimmick, but a symbolic representation of Pikachu's indomitable spirit, a raw power born of its ordeal, unleashed in the final, decisive confrontation with Giovanni. Its inner strength, cultivated through hardship, manifests not just in the decisive battle against Team Rocket, but in every challenge Ash and Pikachu face, culminating in the World Coronation Series, inspiring a new generation of trainers to forge unbreakable bonds with their Pokemon, knowing that even in the face of loss, hope and strength can always be found. This enduring legacy, a testament to the unexpected paths life can take, ensures that the Pokemon world thrives, perpetually pushing the boundaries of what is possible, all because of one pivotal moment that reshaped destiny. This Ash, now a true master, carries the spirit of his lost friend in every victory, a silent promise kept, a destiny fulfilled. His journey, however, doesn't end with the World Coronation Series trophy. The mantle of World Champion brings with it a new set of responsibilities. Ash, now recognized globally, becomes a symbol of unity and interspecies cooperation. His past experiences with Team Rocket and his victory over their ultimate plan positions him uniquely to address lingering threats and foster global peace. He no longer chases badges, but pursues a grander vision for the Pokemon world. He embarks on a series of ambassadorial missions, traveling to regions he might not have otherwise visited as a challenger. In this timeline, the introduction of terrestrialization in Paldea, for instance, isn't just a new battle gimmick for Ash to master for a league challenge, but a scientific wonder he helps to investigate and explain to the world, bridging the gap between trainers and researchers. His experience with the raw power of Mega Evolution and Z moves, honed without the crutch of Pikachu's consistent presence, makes him an ideal candidate to understand and articulate the potential and pitfalls of these unique regional phenomena. He champions responsible use and encourages deep understanding over mere power. His team, now legendary in their own right, accompanies him. Infernape, his fiery heart, continues to inspire. Sceptile, with his cool precision, remains a tactical marvel. Crocodile, the loyal powerhouse, stands as a protector. Dragonite, the sky-soaring behemoth, becomes a symbol of safe passage. Lucario, the Aura Guardian, serves as his spiritual compass, its connection to Ash deeper than ever, an unbreakable bond forged in the crucible of countless challenges. And Cinderace, his Galar champion, represents the spirit of innovation and adaptation. This expanded role means that encounters with new legendary and mythical Pokémon are not just about catching them for his team, but about understanding their role in the ecological balance of the world. He might mediate disputes involving territorial legendaries, or assist in the recovery of ancient artifacts tied to mythical Pokémon, all with the wisdom gained from his uniquely challenging journey. He is no longer just a trainer, but a guardian. The ripples extend even to his companions. Misty and Brock, having witnessed Ash's unwavering determination and growth, continue their own journeys with an even greater sense of purpose, inspired by his example. Tracy, Professor Oak's assistant, meticulously documents Ash's progress, his sketches illustrating not just battles, but the profound emotional and strategic evolution of a trainer who overcame profound loss. Dawn, May, Serena, and Go, while still embarking on their own paths, interact with Ash not just as a peer or a mentor, but as a living legend, a testament to what is possible when one refuses to give up. Their own challenges are met with a renewed vigor, knowing the world champion faced and conquered even greater odds. The shadow of Team Rocket, though largely diminished, occasionally resurfaces in smaller, more localized forms. But this time, Ash, backed by his legendary team and his global influence, neutralizes these threats with swift, decisive action, often working in conjunction with regional police forces and champions. The era of their bumbling persistence is over. They are now dealt with as serious, but ultimately manageable threats against a world united by a champion's resolve. The ultimate legacy of this timeline is not just Ash Ketchum as a champion, but the paradigm shift he instigates. The focus moves from individualistic glory to collective well-being. Pokémon battles, while still a competitive sport, become less about domination and more about the celebration of bonds and strategic prowess. The world becomes a safer, more collaborative place, all stemming from that single world-altering event, the moment Team Rocket finally caught Pikachu. It was a catalyst for a transformation, turning a potential tragedy into the forge of a true hero, and by extension, a brighter future for the entire Pokémon world. The absence of one leading to the strength of many.